Good morning to you and welcome to Live from Roebuck Street. And this is the live feed and broadcast of the Barbados Labour Party as we count down all of the results and all of the numbers coming in from the general election held yesterday. Why am I saying yesterday? Because it's approximately 18 minutes after midnight, so technically it is Friday morning. And after polls closed at 6 o'clock and the natural expectation that we would have results coming just after 8 o'clock, we've only just begun to get results. We have waited anxious hours for any sort of information coming out of polling houses and coming out of polling stations. We've had some very anxious candidates, some very anxious members of the media, and it is only now that we're beginning to get numbers. So before I bring you all of the color of yesterday's election day, let me begin by giving you some results. We're going to start off with St. Michael West. St. Michael West, the Barbados Labour Party candidate being Bishop Joseph Atherley. The Barbados Labour Party, after the first 4 boxes of St. Michael West, the Barbados Labour Party, 707 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 196 votes. Solutions Barbados, 14 votes. The UPP Party, 9 votes. The Barbados Integrity Movement, 5 votes. So that's after the first 4 boxes of St. Michael West. The Barbados Labour Party, 707. The Democratic Labour Party, 196. Solutions Barbados, 14. UPP, 9. And the Barbados Integrity Movement, 5. We then move to St. George South. And in box GA2, we've got the Barbados Labour Party with 113 votes, the Democratic Labour Party with 15 votes. That's in box GA2, St. George South, the BLP 113, the DLP 15. Moving on now to St. George North. After 3 boxes, the Barbados Labour Party's Glenn Clark, 1,577 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Jepter Ince, 333. After 3 boxes in St. George North, the BLP's Glenn Clark, 1577. The DLP's Jepter Ince, 313. And then we move to the constituency of St. John, a hotly contested seat, not just because of tradition, but because of all the intrigue and drama surrounding who would represent this seat for the Democratic Labour Party and the expectations that the BLP has for hometown boy Charles Griffith. So here we go, the constituency of St. John. Box JA1. The Barbados Labour Party, 232 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 100 votes. Solutions Barbados, 6 votes. UPP, 14 votes. And the one independent candidate, 6 votes. You can hear the early cheers of the hundreds of people assembled just outside 111 Roebuck Street. So I'll give you again. St. John, box JA1. The Barbados Labour Party, 232 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 100 votes. Solutions Barbados, 6 votes. UPP, 14 votes. And Leroy McLean, 6 votes. We then move to the constituency of St. Michael North, where incumbent BLP candidate Ronald Toppin has polled 497 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Kim Tudor, 125 votes. We then go to St. Michael West. St. Michael West, where the BLP candidate is Bishop Joseph Atherley. The Barbados Labour Party, 707 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 196 votes. Solutions Barbados, 14 votes. UPP, 9 votes. And the Barbados Integrity Movement, 5 votes. I'll repeat that. St. Michael West, the Barbados Labour Party, 707 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 196 votes. Solutions Barbados, 14 votes. UPP, 9 votes. And the Barbados Integrity Movement, 5 votes. We go now to St. George South, Box GA2. The Barbados Labour Party's incumbent candidate Dwight Sutherland, 113 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 15 votes. St. George South, I repeat, the Barbados Labour Party, Dwight Sutherland, 113 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 15 votes. An update from St. Michael North, the Barbados Labour Party candidate Ronald Toppin, 702 votes. Kim Tudor, 161 votes. Mark Adamson, 8 votes. Angela Gibbs, 18 votes. And Les Lloyd Bishop, 7 votes. And now, please bear with us because we're going to give you the information as soon as it becomes available because we've been waiting so long. Let's go now to St. Michael Southeast, Box NA1. The Barbados Labour Party, 738 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 129 votes. UPP, 5 votes. And Solutions Barbados, 20 votes. St. Michael Southeast again, NA1, the Barbados Labour Party, 738 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 129 votes. UPP, 5 votes. And the Solutions Barbados, 20 votes. Excuse me. And in early calculations, excuse me. And then we go now to Christchurch East Central, and we have to date the count stands at Barbados Labour Party 313 votes and the Democratic Labour Party 66 votes. Christchurch East Central, the Barbados Labour Party 313 votes and the Democratic Labour Party 66 votes. And of course, we will continue to bring the results as they come to hand. We've been waiting hours for them, and as soon as we get them, we are going to bring them to you. But what a day yesterday was for the general election. You can see the hundreds of Labour Party supporters descending on just outside 111 Roebuck Street in the hopes that the Barbados Labour Party will win and therefore win the election and therefore form the next government. Earlier yesterday at around 2:30 in the afternoon, party leader Mia Amor Motley visited the Eden Lodge Primary School to cast her vote, and we were there.
Na 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 na, go away, goodbye. Na 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 na, go away, goodbye. These are the last days for the BLP, 'cause we going with me and Motley. Whoa, we got to change the government for we own betterment. The last days for the BLP, 'cause we voting for me and Motley. Whoa, we got to change the government.
And there you have it, early video from yesterday afternoon when party leader Mia Amor Motley went to cast her vote at the Eden Lodge Primary School. More results coming in. Let's move to St. Michael Central, box MA1. The Barbados Labour Party, 267 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 101 votes. St. Michael Central, box MA1. The Barbados Labour Party, 267 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 101 votes. And at 28 minutes into Friday morning, let us take you back out onto the campaign trail and what a campaign it has been, and let's relive some memories.
Now, my politics will revolve around people because people I love. So, I have 3 children, like I said before, born in the parish of St. John. I've worked in St. John all of my life. I got involved in politics because I believe that it is the right time for St. John. It is time for somebody to come from St. John who believe that change could come, that believe that development must come to St. John. And I have particular interests as it relates to the constituency of St. John. And I'm just going to go through some of those things that I'm interested in as it relates to my parish, to our parish. Sports has been something that has been part of my life for almost 25 years. So one of the things that I will be doing in St. John is pushing sports, the development of sports, because we have nothing now in St. John. Culture is another area that must come alive in St. John. We have nothing happening as it relates to culture in St. John, but that will change. Entrepreneurship is another area that I'm absolutely concerned with, because unemployment in the constituency in St. John is at a high. And one of the ways that we can quell the unemployment is to use self-employment, entrepreneurship as one of the vehicles to drive the young people and to drive my parish forward. Now, as mentioned before, I've spent like 20 years in youth work, but I'm also concerned about the senior citizens in St. John. At present, we have 797 persons in St. John who are over 75 years. And we must find something in St. John to keep these people occupied in their twilight years. And I am pledging tonight that I will do something about that. We have blocks across St. John that are just there. We have Lot 38 at Cherry Grove. We have Ground Zero, which is adjacent to the community center, the polyclinic at Glebe-Land. We have Venture Gorillas from Venture. We have BMW in Sherburne. We have the Edgecliff Vigilantes, and nothing is happening on the blocks across St. John, but it will change because there's a reservoir of talent that is lying idle on the blocks that we must tap into in St. John, and I intend to do that. So during the period of time, there's a whole lot of things that must happen in St. John that will change. I was canvassing this week and I was told that Georgia was in Sherburne. Sorry, predictive text again. George was in Sherburne. And someone asked him, do you know anything about St. John? And he indicated, I will learn St. John. You can't come to St. John and learn St. John 2 or 3 weeks before a general election. It is insulting to my people in St. John. Now, I have heard a lot of chatter about the fact that the Barbados Labour Party was in power for 14 years and did nothing in St. John. And I want to suggest that for the last 10 years, the Democratic Labour Party was in power and nothing has happened in the parish of St. John. And let me give you a tour of the constituency of St. John, and you tell me what was done in St. John. In College Savannah, we have a situation where there's a community center that is falling apart. And the youngsters in College Savannah, they travel to Blades Hill in order to engage in football because the state of the playing field is of such that football can't be played in College Savannah. We have side roads in College Savannah that are falling apart, and we had a representative in St. John for 10 years, and nothing has happened. At Concept Bay, we have fishermen who are plying their trade in Concept Bay, and the jetty is falling apart, and nothing has been done in Concept Bay. In Silly Hall, St. John, we have a situation when rainfall, that residents break out fishing lines because the road turns to rivers in College Land, St. John. We have no playing facilities for the youngsters, no recreational facilities in College Land. At Welch, St. John, we are that close away from cutting off a community because of the poor state of the road. We have about 40 or so residents in Bathland who, under the Barbados Labour Party, we put measures in place that persons can purchase lots at $10 a square feet. And Mara Thompson went to Welch Village and held a consultation 3 years ago with the residents of Welchland in terms of them being able to purchase their lot. 3 years later, they're still squatting in Welchland. The Barbados Labour Party, through me, will fix that. So I am saying that we have situations throughout St. John where there are a number of problems that are constant in St. John, and nothing has been done in St. John. At Huddleston Land, my community, a landowner 2 years ago gave Mara Thompson a plot of land and said to her, I want you to develop this land as an additional recreation for the youngsters in St. John. I'm suggesting to you tonight, as I stand here, nothing has been done with that piece of land. The Barbados Labour Party on the mayor and more Mortley, we will fix that in St. John. We have a situation in Foster Hall where I don't know if it is a situation where they believe that the people in Foster Hall must enjoy a roller coaster. The roads are swerving like that in Foster Hall. Nothing has been done for 10 years. Now, I know that resources are scarce, and the infrastructure in St. John is something that we need to take care of, but we will fix that. We have the old polyclinic at Gall Hill that is falling apart, and Mara Thompson is doing nothing as it relates to the old polyclinic at St. John. Now, as part of my proposal for St. John, if the engineers can prove that the integrity of the building is strong enough, we will gut the building and make sure that persons in St. John have a facility where we can provide services and goods to the people in St. John at that location. At Gall Hill as well, we have a situation where the hard courts, the basketball that I coached up to last year, a Premier League team, the top league in Barbados, and we have the pole on the ground for almost 6 weeks. The court, there's a need to paint the court. Now, you had a tattoo adjacent the hard court at Gall Hill, and you claim that one of your focus as it relates to St. John is building the capacity of young people and moving youth groups forward, and you're going to allow the court in St. John to remain as is, I am suggesting that we will fix that. Now, one of the things that I want to talk about as well is the fact that over the years, we have seen persons in St. John who are struggling, absolutely struggling for survival, and nothing has happened. And my daughter would say to me that people are now woke. They're now aware.
That's our candidate, Barbados Labour Party candidate for the constituency of St. John, Charles Griffith. Well, more results are coming in. I'm going to take you to St. Philip North. And after counting initial boxes, the Barbados Labour Party's Dr. Sonia Brown has polled 738 votes. Incumbent Member of Parliament Michael Lashley, 340 votes. So that's in St. Philip North, Barbados Labour Party, 738 votes. And the Democratic Labour Party, 340 votes. I then take you to Christchurch West Central. Christchurch West Central, to date, the Barbados Labour Party's Adrian Medic Ford, 364 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Stephen Lashley, 130 votes. So just to recap, St. Philip North, the Barbados Labour Party's Dr. Sonia Brown, 738 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Michael Lashley, 340 votes. And then we move to Christchurch West Central. The Barbados Labour Party's Adrian Medic Ford, 364 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Stephen Lashley, 130 votes. And so people all across Barbados have been decked out in their Team BLP or their Mia Cares or their All Aboard red shirts from as early as last year. Tonight, this morning, no different. They have descended on Roebuck Street all decked out in their red. One such person is Paula. Good morning, Paula.
Good morning.
Now,
Carol.
you were telling me an interesting story. You voted, went home.
I voted. I worked today as well with Tim Ryan. I went home because it was a really long day, tired. Went to sleep so that things were late and fell asleep and woke up. And I was like, check my phone and saw the results, put on clothes, get in the car, midnight, come down here.
And you were down here expecting some good news.
Well, the news already on the stream. As you go ahead, there's a trend, as you can see. So it is more good news. So I'm expecting really good news. It's the first time I'm actively involved in politics.
Wonderful. Now, what inspired you to get actively involved?
One, in my constituency, Christchurch East Central, we had no representation. I have 2 grandchildren, and I wanted the best for my grandchildren in my constituency. And I got involved when I went and I met Ryan. He came across very genuine, and I wanted to do something. I didn't want to be somebody on the sideline saying, talking, and not doing something. I didn't just want to just vote. I wanted to be actively involved. I wanted to know what my representative was going to do for me, how he was, know him, and get involved. So I told myself, I am not going to talk this election. I'm going to talk, work, and make sure I have a representative that would be accountable to me and I can look up to.
Now, throughout the campaign, the Barbados Labour Party talked a lot about what it wants to do for the people of Barbados. How inspired were you by that?
I was inspired a lot for 2 reasons. One, we really, really needed a change. And the policies that the BLP had, basically I stuck to my constituency. And all the policies, or we talked about, Ryan ran through what we wanted to do in our constituency, what changes that not only the government, depending on the government, but also the community, what they were going to do in our community. And that really inspired me. A government who didn't just say this is what they were going to do, but involve the people into what they were going to do that would affect the people. That really worked for me.
Wonderful. Well, I hope you, like the thousands who have gathered here on Roebuck Street, will get the outcome that you want. And thanks for inspiring us to get involved, to be a part of the change that we want to see and we want to be. Thank you so much, Paula.
Thank you.
And we
Have a
go
good night.
right back to results. I'm going to give you an updated count from St. George South. So St. George South, the Barbados Labour Party, Dwight Sutherland, 1,396 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, Dr. Esther Bayasuku, 222 votes. I'll repeat that. St. George South, updated. The Barbados Labour Party, Dwight Sutherland, 1,396 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, Dr. Esther Bayasuku, 222 votes. I will now move to St. Michael West, updated. The Barbados Labour Party, Bishop Joseph Atherley, 1,583 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Michael Carrington, 495 votes. St. Michael West, updated, I repeat. The Barbados Labour Party, 1,583 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 495 votes. And we're just going to go back to the street, to Roebuck Street, and let you see all of the celebration. Lord.
So I got Charlie on here, we can go a little peek, 60 seconds.
And the people taking every vantage point for their early celebration. So let's continue. I'm going to take you to the constituency of St. Thomas. Box TA1, the Barbados Labour Party, Cynthia Ford, 1,011 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 146 votes. A repeat of St. Thomas, the Barbados Labour Party, 1,011 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 146 votes. We then move back to Christchurch West Central. The Barbados Labour Party's Adrian Medic Ford, 705 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, Stephen Lashley, 215 votes. So that's Christchurch West Central. The Barbados Labour Party, 705 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 215 votes. Again, we look back at the campaign of Team BLP 2018, and we spent a delightful Wednesday evening with some of the elders, the stalwarts of the Barbados Labour Party. We looked back, we got great advice for the current times, but we also looked forward to the prospects of the Labour Party should they win the next election. With me right now is Dame Billy Miller, who also played a very active role in the campaign of 2018. Good morning, Dame Billy.
Good morning.
Now, I'm getting excited like the others outside are excited. You look very calm.
I've been here before. This is a massive swing. I saw it coming, I felt it, and it's happening.
Throughout the course of the day, we heard of a number of issues, concerns, irregularities. Were you concerned at that point in time?
Yes, I had a few concerns. I saw one or two ugly things that I didn't like. But when the people are determined, look, let me put it this way. At 6:15 this morning at Queen's College, the line had 200 people in it.
That's indication enough.
Yes. When I went to vote at 11, because when I got up this morning, I called every single one of the 30 candidates. Make sure that all of your posters within the 100-yard line are down. Double check, triple check if necessary. So I didn't get to go to vote until about 11:15. And it was nearly over there in St. James North. There were like 6 people. And I was in and out of there within 20 minutes. So.
Does this take you back to 1999, memories of 1999?
Yes, this is like 1999. People were determined. And when they are, there's no turning back.
We waited hours for the first sets of results to come. Again, I ask, were you concerned? Does that long delay, that long wait concern you?
Deeply. I was a member of the Electoral and Boundaries Commission, its deputy chair, when Ms. Motley invited me to undertake that responsibility in 2008 when I retired. When Ms. Motley asked me a few weeks ago if I would come to the platform, I told her that the only way that could happen is if I resigned. And so I wrote a letter to the Governor General advising her that with immediate effect I was resigning my position. And I also wrote a letter to Prime Minister Stewart advising him that I had spoken, or written rather, to the Governor Generals, because Ms. Motley would have to have discussed my successor with the Prime Minister, who is, in his portfolio falls the Electoral and Boundaries Commission.
Understood.
But properly speaking tonight, there is no government. I got a little worried at the length of time it was taking for the Electoral and Boundaries Commission to get the count underway, because there was a possibility that we might have been put in a very embarrassing constitutional situation. But
What would that embarrassing situation have been?
well, there's no government.
No government, right? There was some talk of perhaps if we waited too long, we might have to do the polling over again. Did that thought ever enter your mind?
Only if there were significant
Irregularities?
And mercifully, that is not the case. Once it's got running up off the ground and moving, the people are speaking. And there's no stronger indicator than that.
Yes. Speaking of which, I'm going to take you now to St. John, the constituency of St. John. As I said, one of the constituencies definitely piquing our interest from the start of the campaign. And currently, the Barbados Labour Party, 485 votes, and the Democratic Labour Party, 252 votes. In the constituency of St. John, I repeat, the Barbados Labour Party, 485 votes, and the Democratic Labour Party, 252 votes. Now, when you've got St. John polling these numbers, don't you get a little bit excited?
Or more than a little bit. This would be the first time since 1958 when Mr. Barrow won the election. A lot of people don't know the history of elections. Mr. Barrow ran for the first time in 1951. Double-member constituency in St. George with my father.
Okay.
Mr. Barrow broke with Grantley Adams, who my father idealized. And so my father told him, the same way I helped you in, I'm going to have to help you out. We're friends, but this is it.
Yes.
And he lost in 56. Then he ran for the federal, people don't remember that, in 1958. So he lost in 56 and lost in 58. The man who won for the federal was in St. John, and therefore a by-election rose in St. John, and that is the last time.
1958.
In 1958.
Now, is it too early for a constituency like St. John to begin to say, look, it's looking good for us? Is it too early?
No, I wouldn't get ahead of the vote. I'm always guided by the people.
So just let's pace ourselves.
Yes.
Take the results as they come.
Yes.
And wait for the end result.
And there's a certain box which is yet to come in St. John.
Which box is this?
Cherry Grove.
Cherry Grove. All
So
right.
I hear.
Now, what makes that box interesting?
It's always been kinder to us in St. John.
Okay, it's always been kind to us. So we have yet...
Kinder.
We have yet to get to the box from Cherry Grove, and so far we're looking pretty good. All right. Has this election campaign energized you? We hadn't seen you as involved as you were when you were actively involved in politics, and now here you are. You're looking spry, you're looking younger, Has this election energized you, Dame Billy?
Yes.
Did you miss it?
No, I was engaged. I was asked to walk with 3 candidates. Joseph Avely, when he first came to politics, he remembered that I was across the street from him at Passes Road. And here I am, more years than I like to count, walking with him again in said Passes Road. And it was a wonderful walk. I mean, strong. So I'm not surprised at him. I walked with Arthur Holder, not hearing anything about him yet, but that was an excellent walk as well. And I walked with Marsha Cavill.
Right. Now, I'm going back to St. John, updated. The Barbados Labour Party's Charles Griffith, 875 votes.
Whoop.
The Democratic Labour Party's George Pilgrim, 373 votes. And this like it ain't Cherry Grove yet, Dame Billy.
No, this is the voice of the people.
To repeat that, the constituency of St. John, the Barbados Labour Party, 875 votes, Charles Griffith. The Democratic Labour Party's George Pilgrim, 373 votes. Should we win this election, Dame Billy, expectations are high. People are looking towards the Barbados Labour Party to truly live up to its mandate of making a better life for its people. Can we do this?
We've done it before. We've done it before. We did it in 51, we did it in 76, we did it in 94, we did it in 99.
And you'll do it again?
Yes.
Right. Well, I'm going to be guided by your advice, sage as usual. Don't get ahead of the vote, just wait.
Yes.
But you really can't help but smile when you see some of these
I'm
numbers.
pleased. Oh, I'm very pleased. But the hard work will start from tomorrow.
Yes. I want to thank you very, very much. And I know everybody outside is listening and watching, so let's hear it for Dame Billy Miller.
Thank you very much.
So let's go to St. James South. We've got some numbers coming in from St. James South. Just give me a chance to flip through my papers here so that I actually get the constituency and the candidates correct. So St. James South, the Barbados Labour Party's Sandra Husbands, 457 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Donville Innes, 261 votes. So that's St. James South. The Barbados Labour Party, 457 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 261 votes. And then we move to the constituency of St. Andrew. The Barbados Labour Party's George Payne, 278 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Irene Sandiford Garner, 204 votes. St. Andrew, the Barbados Labour Party, George Payne, 278 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 204 votes. So, the numbers keep coming in, and right here, just outside 111 Roebuck Street, we keep our fingers crossed, expectations high, and enjoy some music as we give you some scenes from the street.
We ain't taking no more heavy load. We ain't taking no more. Now is the time.
Now is the time.
Everybody ready?
Everybody ready?
Go tell your friends.
Go tell your friends.
Tell your whole family.
Your whole
Tell
family.
the strings up on the left.
On the left.
Tell the strings up on the right. We rolling with BLP and we making everything right. Together we rolling. Together we moving. Together blessing we ex. Let me go. Head my hinks and be voting in the best. When we reach by the pole, I head my hinks and be blessing we ex. Let me go. Head my hinks and be voting in the best. Oh yes, yes your ex. We voting Edmund Hinkson, yes. Oh yes, yes your ex. We ready for election, yes. Oh yes, yes your ex. We voting Edmund Hinkson, yes. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. But I never see a man for the people so yet. Willing to put in hard work and sweat. He full of integrity against corruption in the party. The man about the truth, developing the youths. Helping those with disabilities, that's things and philosophy. Helping those with disabilities, caring for you and me. Helping those with disabilities, that's things and philosophy. Helping those with disabilities, caring for you and me. Elections when we reach at the poll, by head my hinks and we placing the X. Let me go. Head my hinks and we voting in the. Me ready for elections and be voting in my hinks and. When we reach at the poll, by Edmund Hinkson we placing the X. Let me go. Edmund Hinkson be voting in the best. When we reach by the poll, by Edmund Hinkson we placing the X. Let me go. Edmund Hinkson be voting in the best. Oh yes, yes your ex. We voting Edmund Hinkson, yes. Oh yes, yes your ex. We ready for election, yes. Oh yes, yes your ex. We voting Edmund Hinkson, yes. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. But I never see a man for the people so yet willing to put in.
Wow, line dancing on Roebuck Street, wonderful. Of course, we're going to play some candidate songs for you throughout the course of the morning. An update taking you to Christchurch West. The Barbados Labour Party's Dr. William Duguid, 295 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Verla de Pisa, 60 votes. Christchurch West, I repeat, the Barbados Labour Party, 295 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 60 votes. And the whole idea, I must tell you, of BLP TV started because we, members of the communications and PR team, thought that there was so much happening within the Barbados Labour Party campaign that wasn't getting any publicity from traditional media houses that we thought we'd do it on our own. And so here we are. So a little bit of magic, I will now show you where the leader of the Barbados Labour Party is at this moment. And that's where she is with a young supporter, looking very relaxed and calm as we are here, just with a heightened sense of excitement. More results are in. I'm going to take you now to St. Philip West. All right. Relax. St. Philip West. The Barbados Labour Party's John King, 837 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, Dr. David Estwick, 339 votes. Solutions Barbados, Leighton Greenwich, 42 votes. I repeat, St. Philip West. The Barbados Labour Party, John King, 837 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, Dr. David Estwick, 339 votes. And Solutions Barbados, Leighton Greenwich, 42 votes. I take you immediately to St. James Central. The Barbados Labour Party's Kerry Simmons, 628 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's George Connolly, 264 votes. A repeat of St. James Central to date, the Barbados Labour Party, Kerry Simmons, 628 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, George Connolly, 264 votes. Mr. DJ, it's all over to you again.
BLP is the party for me. Me and Motley before they will see. Anybody that got eyes can see. Even in the alphabet, B before D. D is the destroy the whole country. B is the build up the economy. So everyone cheers in this country. They support me with me and Motley. And yeah, vote, 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 vote. Put down your X and do a mess sport. Put down your X and do a mess sport. Vote, 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 vote. Put down your X and do a mess sport. Let me do it. Put down your X and do a mess sport.
Let the green stop into the plate. Make up your mind, please don't wait. So don't let your ex get away. Before you get the reality all the way. Yes, man.
Vote, 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 vote,
Thanks again.
Put down the X for Ryan Strong. Put down the X for Ryan Strong. Vote, 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 vote. Put down the X for Strong. Anybody that got eyes can see. Even in the alphabet, B before D. D is the destroy the whole country. B is the build up the economy. So everyone cheers in this country.
I have a correction. I have a correction to that St. James Central. I'm receiving it now. It really should be the Barbados Labour Party's Kerry Simmons, 628 votes, and the Democratic Labour Party's George Connolly, instead of 264 votes, 184 votes. So St. James Central corrected. The Barbados Labour Party, 628 votes, and the Democratic Labour Party, 184 votes. This campaign has also seen the introduction of several new candidates to Team BLP. One such candidate is Marcia Cattle. Let's take a look.
Barbados' biggest resource is its people. It has always been that way. And we have always sent out proud ambassadors of this small country. And people have been able to say, well, this little country is punching above its weight. We all got going on over there. They haven't heard about the hurricane that hit us 10 years ago and has not gone away.
But I'm just taking up the microphone to go back here.
We were not supposed to be here today in 2018, ladies and gentlemen. But we are going to end up where we were meant to be, under Mia Amor Motley as the next Prime Minister of Barbados. I want to say a word quickly about the man who will remain Member of Parliament for St. Joseph after the next general election. You know, Bill Marshall makes me laugh in a good way. I have not seen anyone who can so incisively and aptly dismiss the idiocy of the Democratic Labour Party. He does it very well. He does it very ably. You know, we have had in this country an Attorney General that, you know, we've always seen our Attorney Generals as people who can speak with authority to issues, who understand issues of law and order and in their multifaceted way. Bill Marshall stands head and shoulders above anybody who has presumed to speak to law and order issues over the last 10 years. But not only that, he also represents what representation is supposed to look like. He was here when there was the collapse of the road in St. Joseph. And the man who was supposed to be here was trying Kadir to help out his friend down by me by patching the roads down there, when he should have been here. The Barbados Labour Party understands what representation is. And I am proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with men and women who understand care, who understand commitment, who understand courage. But it's not just us, and we can't do this alone. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, that you all also have the courage that it is going to take to bring this Barbados Labour Party to government in the next general election. And I will repeat what Glenn Clark has said: get yourselves together. This is the most important election this country will have seen since independence. Get yourselves together, get your neighbors together, make sure people are on the list. The only way the Democratic Labour Party is going to win the next election is if
And that's Marcia Cattle. And that's Marcia Cattle. I've got an update for you from Christchurch West. The Barbados Labour Party's Dr. William Duguid, 607 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Verla de Pisa, 115 votes. So that's Christchurch West, the Barbados Labour Party, 607 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Verla de Pisa, 115 votes, as the numbers keep coming in. Right here, just outside 111 Roebuck Street, we continue to review our campaign. And this campaign was different in lots of ways. One such way was the heavy reliance on the group that we're calling the Young Turks, the League of Young Socialists. And throughout the course of this morning's broadcast, I'll be introducing you to a number of them. They put their hands to the plow and did whatever was asked of them, whether that meant picking up litter at the end of an event, creating passes, helping with the social media campaign, doing advertising, and tonight, just running up and down for us as production assistants. So it gives me really great pleasure to have a chat with Kevin Henry.
Hi, good night, Carol.
And I got to tell you a little secret. Kevin is one of a twin. They are as identical as you will find. And I'll show you before the evening is out. And I usually have to look at one very, very carefully to decide which one is which. Kevin has less gray hair. So here we go.
Thanks, Carol.
What a campaign. The first campaign for you where you were so heavily involved?
Yes, definitely the first time that I've been heavily involved. But seeing the results, it definitely has a different feeling than just when you were assisting a little bit or watching from the sidelines.
Now, you did a little bit of everything, including speaking on a platform, which you did very, very well. So let's do a run through. What did you do, Kevin?
Wow. I spoke on a platform, I canvassed, we helped organize events, worked with the volunteers, picked up garbage. I like the philosophy of the Labour Party where the only job that you start at the top is a grave digger. And you have to understand the full workings of the Labour Party if you're going to be a successful member within it.
Right. So, speaking on a platform, as I said, you were quite good. Was that the first time you had done it?
No, I did it in 2013.
All right, I'm going to let you stick a pin in it there. We're going to St. Michael North, people. St. Michael North. The Barbados Labour Party's Ronald Toppin, 1,083 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Kim Tudor, 330 votes. So St. Michael North, the BLP, 1,083. The Democratic Labour Party, 330 votes. So we add that to our tally. An update from the constituency of St. Michael North. You were also quite visible on the ground with a number of candidates, including Neil Rowe.
Yes, definitely. I found that in St. Michael Northwest, there was a need for change. And then Neil, as he got into the campaign, we saw the response coming through. We wanted to make sure we gave him the fullest chance to win the seat. So a lot of us in the Youth League felt that it was important to get behind him. He's a young man as well, and try to ensure his success.
It was the first campaign that featured social media. It was actually the first social media election campaign, which is right up your street.
Yes, definitely. I found the level of engagement that we were able to bring through social media allowed for a different kind of campaign. Today, I'm really, really proud of the young people of Barbados because I found a lot of them became engaged in the process without having to go through bribing or big promises. We found that a lot of people went to the polls on their own. Their grandparents or their parents did not have to take them. And I know that that's true a lot of the work that we were able to connect through social media.
We had a lot of young people saying, but why should I vote? There's nothing in it for me.
No, you must vote as a young person. All policy is youth policy. We want sporting opportunities, we want creative industries opportunities, but we also need healthcare, we also need education opportunities, we also need proper tax products so that we don't end up struggling in the economy. So this election for us was a critical one. Our future is literally dependent on the outcome of this election.
All right, so sleep all day tomorrow?
Yes, not all day tomorrow, Saturday perhaps. We'll celebrate quite into the morning.
Vigorously.
Sure.
All right. I want to thank you very much, Kevin Henry. Going to Christchurch South. Let me flip quickly here to make sure I have my candidates correct. Going to Christchurch South. So we're talking about, thank you, Kevin, Ralph Thorne and John Boyce. The Barbados Labour Party's Ralph Thorne, 388 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's John Boyce, 122 votes. Christchurch South, repeat, the Barbados Labour Party, 388. The Democratic Labour Party, 122 votes. And the numbers keep coming as I'm going to say goodbye to Kevin, and I'm actually going to make way now for Stacey. Stacey, another one of the young volunteers from the League of Young Socialists of the Barbados Labour Party who just worked and worked and worked all the way up to tonight. Morning, Stacey.
Hi, good morning, Barbados.
Yes. So what did you do in this campaign?
From wine to iodine.
From wine to iodine. But that don't mean that you drank at every meeting.
No, I did not. I worked very hard from picked up garbage, stuffing circulars, managing meetings, anything that the Barbados Labour Party needed me for, I was there.
Your first campaign? This is your first election campaign?
No, it's not. But it's my first one being so involved in the campaign. Before, I was more behind the scenes than I am now.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. It actually showed me a lot. I learned that there's so much that actually goes into pulling off a campaign that people would not believe.
Wow. Any plans to perhaps step from behind the organizing screen and go onto a platform as a candidate? Have you thought of a career in politics?
To be honest, I've been afraid of public speaking before, but I've realized that I've become more confident. So definitely in the future, I would be looking forward to being more out there.
Alrighty then, I want to thank you so much. You were one of the young people who worked with us at meetings from as early as February of this year, and your contribution was invaluable. Thank you very much, Stacey.
Thank you so much.
Go and enjoy the remainder. Yep, go and enjoy the remainder of your morning. So I've got now 20 minutes after 1 o'clock. It's Friday morning, the day after Election Day, and the numbers keep coming. I'm taking you to the constituency of St. Peter. The Barbados Labour Party, Colin Jordan, 1,035 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, Dave Cumberbatch, 298 votes. And I'm being told to stand by. We have got some results coming in from a very keenly followed constituency, the constituency of St. Michael Northwest. So while we wait for those, I repeat, St. Peter, the Barbados Labour Party, 1,035 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 298 votes. And as I said, stand by. We are getting details coming out. To switch mics. Young socialist friends would say, that easy. As we wait for the details coming in from St. Michael Northwest. Okay, team, I think we're gonna go to another candidate video, one of our new candidate videos. Can we do that?
To create hardship on poor people in this country. You would never believe that there are citizens of this country who may not make or haven't made the necessary contributions to NAS, and some people back then under the Barbados Labour Party could have applied for a non-contributory pension. But under this government deprived the elderly from receiving a non-contributory pension under this administration. And you will consider this government a caring government? This government only believe in themselves and their friends. And the Member of Parliament for Northwest, the only people that he opened doors for are people like the man that owned Preconcourt, the man that owned Jada. Those are the people that he opened doors for. But the poor people that continue to suffer at the hands of this government and the Minister of Finance, he closed the doors in the people's faces. Would you consider this government to be a caring government? Huh? One time, I used to hear people saying, man, the DLP is the poor people government. But the poor people in this country are poor now. They are more poor than when the Barbados Labour Party was in power, because when the Barbados Labour Party in power, poor people used to live. But since this Democratic Labour Party came to office in 2008, it was tax after tax after tax after tax on the backs of the poor people. And right now we have people in this country that all of you may not know the true state or the true situation with some people, but we have a lot of people in this country that are suffering. We have people that don't know where their next plate of food will come from. But we have ministers that want to be in constituencies giving away a fish just to feed people for a day. But under the Barbados Labour Party, we just teach people how to fish and feed them for a lifetime.
In 1994, we were going through the same thing that we are experiencing now under an Erskine Sandyford-led government at that time. I came back from overseas and I said, I'm back. Later that year, the Barbados Labour Party went to the polls and the Barbados Labour Party was back. When we came back, we brought back jobs. We brought back opportunity. We brought back foreign investment. We brought back pride and industry. It is not a coincidence that in 2018, I am back and the Barbados Labour Party is back again. This time, ladies and gentlemen, when we thought that it couldn't get any worse than the years with Erskine Sandyford, Frandel Stewart and his band of merry men have taken us to depths we've never seen before. It means that once again, the Barbados Labour Party, led by the Honourable Mia Amor Motley, must bring Barbados back. But a team cannot do it without you. You are the backbone of what is going to happen on May 24th.
New candidate John King. Numbers, people, let's go to St. Michael, Northeast. The Barbados Labour Party, Mia Amor Motley, 1,038 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Patrick Todd, 144 votes. St. Michael Northeast, I repeat, 1,038 votes for Mia Amor Motley. For the Democratic Labour Party's Patrick Todd, 144 votes. And now we move to the intriguing constituency of St. Michael Northwest. The Barbados Labour Party's Neil Rowe, 888 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Christopher Sinclair, 562 votes. I repeat those numbers. St. Michael Northwest. The Barbados Labour Party, 888 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 562 votes. I take you straight to the constituency of St. Michael West Central. The Barbados Labour Party's Ian Goodin Edgell, 691 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's James Paul, 294 votes. I repeat those numbers for St. Michael West Central. The Barbados Labour Party, 691 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 294 votes. And without further ado, I go to campaign manager, Dr. Jerome Walcott. Let me see that smile.
Good morning.
Good
Charles.
morning.
Good morning to all the
campaign
BLP
manager.
supporters.
Still got a voice.
Certainly.
Yeah. Before we get into the numbers and all of that, what was today like for you? Your assessment of our election campaign on the ground today?
For me, it was tiring, it was grueling, but generally all of the constituencies, I was pleased with the level of organization and the efforts to get out the vote because we were focused on that. Although we had a number of problems which you know about in terms of the EBC and the difficulty for persons in voting, and a number of people were turned away for whatever reason and were unable to vote. And again, before the counting began, the difficulties. So we were still concerned, but I felt going from St. Lucie to St. Philip this evening that there was this feeling, there was a movement on the ground, there was an enthusiasm, and certainly is being revealed this evening.
Tonight's results to date, even though it's early days, are they a reflection, do you think, of the work that you put in to the campaign to prepare us for Election Day?
Absolutely, and this, for us, the campaign started, you will be aware, in January, in effect, when we put up the posters and we started having a number of meetings to mobilize our supporters in Barbados and to speak about the issues. And then it came together with the leakage of the manifesto, the People's Manifesto, which then became a public document for discussion. So that when the elections were called, our machinery had been well oiled by then. We had people generally mobilized, and then the elections were called like 2 days before our picnic, and it was like icing on the cake. And then we just kept going and going and going.
Now, with the numbers that I saw at East Coast Road, the numbers at the launch and all of that, would you agree that there were hundreds of people who joined the BLP Campaign Express, even though they were not diehard BLP supporters? In other words, they were motivated and captivated by the thought of a better Barbados.
Absolutely, and we knew it, especially in addition to coming on, during the last couple of months, there were a number of new people joining the party. And certainly from event to event on the East Coast, we saw it there, where a number of people who were not necessarily supporters were just coming on board.
I've got to give you this update. I'm taking you back to St. Michael Northwest, an updated count. The Barbados Labour Party, Neil Rowe, 1,088 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Chris Sinclair, 552 votes. I repeat those numbers. The Barbados Labour Party, 1,088 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 552 votes. The constituency of St. Michael Northwest. Now, Dr. Walcott, St. Michael Northwest, like St. John and St. Lucie and St. Michael South, are constituencies of great interest to the Labour Party. So when you see numbers like this, Neil Rowe polling 1,088 votes to the Democratic Labour Party's Chris Sinclair, the incumbent, 552 votes. I don't want the smirk.
I become excited. I feel that the party will probably win all 11 seats in St. Michael.
You're confident?
I am confident at this point in time.
All right. Before we go, I want to go back once again to the campaign. It was at times a bruising campaign. And with the number of new candidates that the party had, there was some concern that they might have crumbled, they might have shriveled. But before we do that, I'm taking you to a live picture of the leader of the Barbados Labour Party with her dad, Elliot Motley. And you would remember that just about 10 days ago, this was a very different Elliot Motley, and here he is hugging his daughter. Wow. That's a sweet picture.
Lovely.
Good memory, good moments. As I was saying, going back to the bruising campaign and the potential for new candidates to wilt, and just be, quite frankly, traumatized by the onslaught of the negativity. How did you manage them and that?
We were concerned that it might happen, but to their credit, I thought that all of the new candidates rose to the occasion. I think, Carol, you would agree that they really developed and matured politically during the campaign. Their speeches and just kept improving. Towards the end, some of them were a bit tired, but this was natural.
I think we all were a bit tired.
I am tired. I'm sleepy now. But I think we were very pleased with them. And I expect a number of them to do well, much better, and go on in years to come in terms of the development of Barbados.
Dr. Walcott, I beg pardon again. I'm taking you to the constituency of St. Joseph. The Barbados Labour Party, 494 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 51 votes. And for the independent candidate, 154 votes. And that would be Mr. Rouse. So in the constituency of St. Joseph, the Barbados Labour Party, 494 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 51 votes. And the independent candidate, Randall Rouse, 154 votes. Now, you talk about winning all 11 in St. Michael. We have yet to hear from St. Michael, the constituency where our candidate is Santia Bradshaw, Trevor Prescott, Arthur Holder, Kirk Humphrey. So what gives you that hope and confidence that we can take?
I've got figures, numbers from St. Michael Southeast and indeed St. Michael Central, and we are leading in both of those constituencies. And the city.
And the city. All right, well, I'm going to go to my numbers, man. Need some numbers from the city.
St. Michael Southeast.
And St. Michael Southeast. All right, so we're looking forward then, Kevon, to receiving those numbers. But early days yet.
Absolutely.
Early days yet.
But I love what is happening in St. Philip so far.
St. Philip. All right.
You know how I felt about St. Philip?
Yes.
And especially Dr. Brown.
I'm taking you to St. George North. The Barbados Labour Party's Glenn Clark, 3,439 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Glenn Clark for St. George North, 3,439 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Jeter Ince, 588 votes. The UPP's Everton Holligan, 100 votes. And Solutions Barbados, Grenville Phillips, 201 votes. So St. George North, the BLP's Glenn Clark, 3,439 votes. The DLP's Jeter Ince, 588 votes. Solutions Barbados, Grenville Phillips, 201 votes. And the UPP's Everton Holligan, 100 votes. Now, perhaps for the Labour Party, not an unexpected result, Dr. Walcott, but the numbers, the variance in the numbers. 3,000, almost 3,500, and then the second closest number to that is 588.
Almost 3,000 votes. Yeah.
Yes. So Glenn Clark of the BLP leading by almost 3,000 votes.
Political massacre in St. George.
Okay, St. George North. All right, so I'm going to thank you. Although I know you say you're tired and you're sleepy, you're not going anywhere, you know that. You're here until the bitter end.
Oh, yes.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, Carol. And again, I want to thank all the party supporters for your hard work and supporting us today and being here. We move on together. Thank you.
Campaign Manager Dr. Jerome Walcott. We're going to head back to the street. Want to see some more line dancing, want to see some more celebration. Let's hear it for DJ Shimon Walker.
Tell me what you want. BLP all aboard. What the people want. BLP. What Barbados want. BLP. Whoa, yo. Well, let me go. We making history. We heading out for victory. We voting BLP. That is the best for the country. We making history. We heading out for victory. Barbados rising up cause we got me out with me. Oh, so come along. We moving on. We must be strong. We want upliftment. So all aboard. It's time to roll. So let me go. All aboard. Cause everybody fed up and we done with them. No opportunity, so we done with them. We want the best for the country, so we done with them. So vote BLP, call we done with them. BLP, come to help we build confidence and lift up the country. And all of we done know, me a going get it right, me a going do it right. We making history, we heading out for victory. We voting BLP, that is the best for the country. We making history, we heading out for victory. Barbados rising up cause we got me out with me. So come along, we moving on. We must be strong, we want upliftment. So all aboard, it's time to roll. So let me go, all aboard. Cause everybody fed up and we done with them. No opportunity, so we done with them. We want the best for the country, so we done with them. So vote BLP, call we done with them. BLP, come to help we build confidence and lift up the country. And all of we done know, me a going get it right, me a going do it right. We making history, we heading out for victory. We voting BLP, that is the best for the country. We making history, we heading out for victory. Barbados raising up cause we got me a with me. So come along, we moving on. We must be strong.
Be ready. The time has come to save Barbados.
Now 19 minutes to 2 o'clock Friday morning, and we've got more results. I'm going to give you an update for St. Michael's Southeast, first of all. The Barbados Labour Party's Santia Bradshaw, 738 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Rodney Grant, 129 votes. Solutions Barbados, Francina Bourne, 20 votes. And the UPP's Veronica Price, 5 votes. I repeat that, St. Michael's Southeast, Box NA1. The Barbados Labour Party, Santia Bradshaw, 738 votes. Rodney Grant, the Democratic Labour Party candidate, 129 votes. Francina Bourne of the UPP, 5 votes. And Solutions Barbados, Veronica Price, 20 votes. And now I take you to the constituency of Christchurch East. For the United Progressive Party, Victor Knight, 7 votes. Solutions Barbados, Anne-Marie Weatherhead, 28 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Wilfred Abrams, 534 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Dr. Dennis Lowe, 130 votes. I repeat, Christchurch East, the UPP, 7 votes. Solutions Barbados, 28 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 130 votes. And the Barbados Labour Party, Wilfred Abrams, 534 votes. We have some preliminary results from the city of Bridgetown. So we're just awaiting some specific numbers to be able to give you an update from the city of Bridgetown. In the meantime, I have a chat with another youngster. His name is Jermaine Beckford of the League of Young Socialists. Good morning to you, Jermaine.
Good morning.
Come a little closer to the microphone.
Good morning.
Tired?
Very.
Very?
Yeah.
What makes you tired, Mr. Beckford, a young man like you?
Well, I have been going home at 12 and 1 o'clock in the morning for the last about 3 months.
Wow.
I've been working in St. George South, and the work has been daunting and terrible, and we have been doing our work.
What sort of work have you been doing on the ground in St. George South?
Well, touch and go. Our aim was always to connect with the voters and ensure that we understand their concerns and deal with their issues. Because at the end of the day, we were concerned about addressing the voters. We weren't worrying about all the optics and things. We just wanted to ensure that the community knew that we were there with them.
All right.
And
I'm going to go to an update now for Christchurch West Central. I'm being told to ignore that. Okay, yes. I'm being told to ignore that. So, sorry. We're going to give you some more details when we get them. Going back to you, Jermaine, and your work in St. George South. Tell us about your candidate, your perspective of your candidate.
Dwight Sutherland is one of the best candidates that the Barbados Labour Party has. He is genuinely loved by the people of St. George South. I can tell you that no matter where you go in St. George South, Dwight knows every individual, and people consider him as their friend, not only a politician.
Politics, is that in your future?
We'll see where life takes me.
You're going to see where life takes you.
Yeah.
Where do you want it to take you this morning?
I want to see Mayor Amar Motley as the Prime Minister of Barbados and the Barbados Labour Party in government come 5 o'clock in the morning.
All righty then. Thank you so much, Jermaine Beckford.
No problem.
I am taking you to Christchurch South. And we're doing this very organically, so I'm going to give it to you from my phone. The Democratic Labour Party's John Boyce, Christchurch South, 330 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Ralph Thorne, 1,090 votes. I repeat that. Christchurch South, John Boyce, 330 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Ralph Thorne, 1,090 votes. I also have an updated Christchurch West. The Democratic Labour Party's Verla de Pisa, 245 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Dr. William Duguid, 1,327 votes. The constituency of Christchurch West, I repeat, the Democratic Labour Party, 245 votes, and the Barbados Labour Party's Dr. William Duguid, 1,327 votes. As people continue to gather just outside 111 Roebuck Street, and the celebrations, though early days yet, are certainly heating up. Some more from DJ Shimon.
So come out election day, we voting monthly all the way. These are the last days for the BLP, cause we going with me and monthly way. We got to change the government for we own betterment. The last days for the BLP, cause we voting for me and monthly way. All aboard, for we own betterment.
I'm on a quest, ready for the test. First and Philip West, to make it the best. John King. Can't take the duck medicine. We need a new prescription. John King. We going with John King. All aboard! All aboard! All aboard! All aboard!
We've got some numbers for you. I'm taking you to the constituency of Christchurch East. The Democratic Labour Party's Dr. Dennis Lowe, 308. The Barbados Labour Party's Wilfred Abrams, 1,151. I repeat, an update to Christchurch East. The Democratic Labour Party's Dr. Dennis Lowe, 308. The Barbados Labour Party's Wilfred Abrams, 1,151. And as smooth as only we do it, seeing as how we're in Christchurch East, I'm going to turn to my, east, and say good morning to Reginald Farley,
Good morning,
the treasurer campaign treasurer for the Barbados Labour Party, but also a former MP for Christchurch East. You feel real good.
Yes, in fact, I was in Christchurch East before coming here, and I said to Wilfred, boy, you're home and dry. I didn't realize how high he was. And I'm really, really very pleased. Wilfred is a great guy, great candidate who's going to work hard for Christchurch East, and will do credit to the Barbados Labour Party.
A number of former candidates have played an integral role in this 2018 campaign. Just had a chat with campaign manager and former MP as well for Christchurch South, Dr. Jerome Walcott. What does it feel like to be playing a different role in a campaign as high energy and exciting as this?
Well, first of all, we former candidates are also high energy and exciting. But that said, when you sign on to the Barbados Labour Party as a candidate, it's a lifelong responsibility. We see ourselves as having had the privilege of serving the country in the previous administration, and we have responsibility in leaving office to continue to serve. I am now 56 years old. I was 32 years when I went into politics, 46 when I left. I'm at the stage where when I first entered as a green, elect behind the ears, 30-year-old, there were people who were my age who were helping me. And I thought I had a responsibility to give my all, use my energy, use my experience, use my talent to help the new candidates of the Barbados Labour Party. And I would certainly want to urge the candidates, new candidates who won today, they've done very well, to recognize that even when they transition to where we are, that they have this responsibility. And people wonder why the Barbados Labour Party does well. It is because of the commitment of the stalwarts of the party, young stalwarts, old stalwarts, but we do not just, we may leave official office, but we never leave the party and we never leave service.
Wow. Now, if you see me looking down at my phone, I'm not checking my IG. I'm actually, this is the tool that we're using, the technological tool we're using to get the results. And so, I take you to Christchurch East Central. Now, Christchurch East Central, one of the intriguing constituencies, and the update goes like this. The Democratic Labour Party's Ronald Jones, 581 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Ryan Strawn, 1,457 votes. Christchurch East Central, I repeat, the Democratic Labour Party's Ronald Jones, 581 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Ryan Strawn, 1,457 votes. I will also give you an updated Christchurch West Central. The Democratic Labour Party, 431 votes. And just let me get up to speed so I have these candidates correct. You would think, Reginald, that I should know them by heart, right?
Indeed.
On live TV, don't want to make any mistakes. So I'm taking you to Christchurch West Central. The Democratic Labour Party, Stephen Lashley, 431 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Adrian Medic Ford, 1,319 votes. I repeat, Christchurch West Central. The Democratic Labour Party, 431 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, Adrian Medic Ford, my apologies, Adrian Medic Ford, 1,319 votes.
Wow.
And we could go home, right? Wow.
Go home. But you know, I'm really pleased with the performance of the Christchurch candidates, and I want to salute the Christchurch zone management team and the young candidates. We wanted to do well, and we did it.
Christchurch, 5 constituencies, but while each candidate runs an individual campaign, there is also a holistic, cohesive approach to Christchurch.
Yes. Because we see there are five constituencies, but one community. So there's always a Christchurch strategy for the Barbados Labour Party. And it was really about reminding of our history of service, but also presenting our new candidates. And there were 4 new well, Wilfred was running again, but they had not taken office before. Just William Duguid was returning. And we wanted to also put a program. So the winning of the seats in Christchurch was really a full affirmation of the confidence which the public has in the programs of the Barbados Labour Party.
Right. I'm asking all of you this question. Early days yet, but what is your sense telling you?
Well, my sense is telling me that the public expects a lot of us. We need to implement. We've presented our programs already, so we don't have to talk anymore. In the words of Nike, we just have to do it. Just do it. That's my sense.
Wow. All of you, upbeat, sounding younger, chipper. Is this just what, not just what the country may need, but just what the party needs? After a couple of years of restructuring, regrouping, working on your unity, getting a new slate of candidates, trying to find the happy marriage between the new candidates and the veterans so they could pass on their experience, but that the new candidates can infuse the party with a different zest and a freshness. You feel good?
I feel good. And in fact, I want to salute our political leader, Mayor Moore Motley. Wonderful leadership. I want to salute our campaign manager, Dr. Jerome Walcott. He has managed his campaign with surgical precision. And I think that a lot of credit has to go to him. But Mayor has really nurtured this 20 or so new candidates. It is a party in transition. This is an 80-year-old party, but we celebrate our history, but we're not burdened by our age. We're the youngest 80-year-old in the entire world. And she's really
I must interrupt you, and for that, even I'm not going to give out her age, but Dame Billy Miller is the perfect mascot.
Indeed, that's our mascot. So we're always forward-looking. We're proud of our history, but we're thinking, what can we do tomorrow to make Barbados better? What can we do to ensure that 80 years from now, when they look back on our period in office, our descendants can be proud of how we have contributed to the success of our country and our party and our society in our time.
I'm going to give you a parting gift. I'm taking you to Christchurch West Central. Christchurch West Central, where we have for the Democratic Labour Party, Stephen Lashley, 622 votes. And for the Barbados Labour Party, Adrian Medic Ford, 1,895 votes. Christchurch West Central, the Democratic Labour Party, 622 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, 1,895 votes. So, again, Christchurch West Central, we're leading there as well. The DLP, 622 votes. And the Barbados Labour Party, 1,895 votes. Now, we've heard the leaders say that today is supposed to be the first day of work. But Reggie, given the long hours and these numbers that are coming in, don't you think we deserve a holiday tomorrow? I think so too.
Well, we're full of energy. I think once the public has a holiday, we can get on with our work. But we are anxious to get to work to serve the public. We took 2 years to develop our manifestos, our policies, our programs, and we are ready to implement. We're ready for work.
Well, I see the campaign manager off-site just waving his hand, so we're getting ready to work.
That's right.
But it's also a Friday, so you could always have a happy hour.
The Barbados Labour Party works every day of the week, 24 hours a day. Jerome and I will have a drink Friday in the evening after we've done some work.
All right. I am taking you, thank you so much, Reginald Farley. Let's hear it for Reginald Farley, the campaign treasurer. I am now going to take you to St. Michael East. The Democratic Labour Party's Nicholas Aline, 389 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Trevor Prescott, 767 votes. St. Michael East, the Democratic Labour Party, Nicholas Aline, 389 votes. And the Barbados Labour Party's Trevor Prescott, 767 votes. And from there, we go to St. James North. Take some time to find my paper as we take a look outside the scene on the street. Just outside 111 Roebuck Street, the home of the Barbados Labour Party, and people cheering as numbers come in, and of course then listening attentively. So I take you to St. James North. The Democratic Labour Party's Harcourt Husbands, 174 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Edmund Hinkson, 1,525 votes. St. James North, the Democratic Labour Party, 174 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, Edmund Hinkson, 1,525 votes. And the numbers keep coming, and the music keeps playing.
When I smell this out post, anybody can hit a pothole. People can't pay the rent, but them take back them 10%. Look, them is the worst, 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 them is the worst. Look, be agents, we gotta get rid of them, cause Chris and Frandel, dummy your friend, wanna look. Try and get rid of them, not another 5 years, never again be agents. We gotta get rid of them, cause Chris and Frandel, dummy your friend, wanna look. Try and get rid of them. Try and think about when the children and vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. Every day taking bread out your mouth. Vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. Can't buy a fish cake or piece of pig snout. Vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. The man tell when I take the handouts, but vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. Like demons, just cast them out. When I smell this out post, anybody can hit a pothole. People can't pay the rent, but them take back them 10%. Cause Chris and Frandel, dummy your friend, wanna look. Try and get rid of them, not another 5 years, never again be agents. We gotta get rid of them, cause Chris and Frandel, dummy your friend, wanna look. Try and get rid of them. Try and think about when the children and vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. Every day taking bread out your mouth. Vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. Can't buy a fish cake or piece of pig snout. Vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. The man tell when I take the handouts, but vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. Like demons, just cast them out. A decade them ruling and don't know what them doing. Them is the word. Not them again, not them again, not them again. Poor people suffering, but them won't do nothing. Them is the word. Not them again, not them again, not them again. The agents, we gotta get rid of them, cause Chris and Frandel, dummy your friend, wanna look. Try and get rid of them, not another 5 years, never again be agents. We gotta get rid of them, cause Chris and Frandel, dummy your friend, wanna look. Try and get rid of them. Try and think about when the children and vote them out, vote them out, vote them out. Every day taking bread out your mouth. Vote them out, vote them out, vote them out.
And from the street, settle down, people, because I'm taking you to the constituency of St. Michael South. The Democratic Labour Party, Frandel Stewart, 180 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, Kurt Humphrey, 618 votes. I repeat, St. Michael South, After 3 boxes counted, the Democratic Labour Party's Frundell Stewart, 180 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Kirk Humphrey, 618 votes. Right. And then I take you to the constituency of St. John. The Democratic Labour Party's George Pilgrim, 831 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Charles Griffith, 1,853 votes. I repeat, the constituency of St. John. The Democratic Labour Party, George Pilgrim, 831 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Charles Griffith, 1,853 votes. And I'm being notified that we're still awaiting word. We still have no numbers as yet for the evening from St. Philip South and the constituency of St. Lucie. Shanika Roberts Odell, an integral part of the League of Young Socialists' involvement in this campaign. Like Kevin and Kevon and Stacy and all the others, you did a little bit of everything.
Indeed.
And I think we grew particularly close because at most of the meetings you were my assistant.
Yes,
my
indeed.
eyes, my ears, and sometimes my conscience.
Always happy.
How has the campaign been for you?
It has been amazing and exhausting, exhilarating, and I am on a total high tonight.
Now, I didn't even know that you had it in you, but over the last couple of days, you chaired the youth rally,
Yeah, I did.
and then you chaired the Silver Sand Splash.
Indeed.
It was lit, as y'all would say.
Yes, it was fun.
And what, if you had to take one thing, hold that thought, I'm taking you to Christchurch East Central. Christchurch East Central. So Christchurch East Central, where we've got O.J. Doughton, Scott Weatherhead, Ronald Jones, and Ryan Strawn. So Christchurch East Central, an update. The Democratic Labour Party's Ronald Jones, 745 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Ryan Strawn, 2,253 votes. Christchurch East Central. I repeat, the Democratic Labour Party, Ronald Jones, 745 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, Ryan Strawn, 2,253 votes. I'm also receiving some notes here for a St. Philip constituency, St. Philip North. I'm wondering if I should reveal them. The note just reads that Dr. Sonia Brown is ahead by 1,000 votes with 1 box to go. Dr. Sonia Brown ahead by 1,000 votes with 1 box to go. So to bring us down a bit, I'm gonna go to DJ Shimon And then we're going to come back to our chat with Shanika Roberts-Odell as the numbers begin to come in and begin to paint a fantastic picture for the Barbados Labour Party. Now 14 minutes after 2 o'clock Friday morning, I take you for the first time to the constituency of St. Lucie. The Democratic Labour Party's Dennis Kelman, 76 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Peter Phillips, 222 votes. So, first set of boxes out of St. Lucie, early days yet. The Democratic Labour Party, 66 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, 222 votes. The constituency of St. Lucie. These numbers, Shanika.
Wow.
These numbers.
They're coming fast and furious, and they're all looking better and better and better.
Now, I was upstairs with the youngsters. I hope you don't mind me calling you youngsters, earlier on, and you were all quite anxious when we were waiting for those hours.
Yeah, definitely.
And a whole set of conspiracy theories were bandied about and all the rest. Yeah. And I remember telling you, just relax, bring it down. So how do you feel now?
I feel amazing. It honestly vindicates all the hard work and all the effort that we've been putting into the campaign under the leadership of people like you and the others in the party. And thanks for bringing us in and making us a true part of the campaign and a part of change.
So, what's next for you, politics-wise, in the Barbados Labour Party?
The same thing I've been doing, anything and everything asked of me.
Would you consider a step up?
Well, I'm open to all things, as long as it is for the good of my party and my country.
By a step up, I mean running on the platform more often, candidate.
Well, definitely. I enjoy doing platform work, and if it is for the benefit of my country and my party, I will definitely consider anything that is asked of me.
Alrighty then. Thank you so much. Let's hear it for Shanika Roberts-Odell, one of the, what's your position? I think you are vice president?
Vice President
of the League of Young Socialists of the Barbados Labour Party. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And enjoy the rest of your morning.
Yes, yes, BLP.
It has been a long and grueling campaign, but boy, do we have some memories. Let's take a look back now at one such memory.
Had the opportunity to interact with every one of the prime ministers of this country. And I believe that in them there was a message that we must uphold, that Barbados is greater than any one of us. It is for this reason that my heart bleeds tonight as we stand at the crossroads. No one who knew the work of Grantley Adams and Errol Barrow and all who came after them could understand how, as Billy reminded us in the words of Sir Lloyd Sandiford, how did we get back here? The notion that our country can be referred to in a Google search for sewage and brown water in the sea. The notion that we could have pensioners standing up at bus stops for hours upon hours waiting for a bus to get to St. Thomas Cindy, to get to St. Joseph Dale, to get to Connelltown, Peter, is a sight of Barbados that I cannot accept and will not accept as leader of this party. There were times when I went to Carlisle Car Park, as you know, and against the injurious and oppressive solid waste tax, I asked you to join me. And we didn't know who would come. And I said to you then, Bishop Joe, if you recall, in the words of Timothy, that I speak not from a point of cowardice, but a spirit of love and of sound mind. And I said that I wanted you to walk with me, but be assured that I shall walk even if it is me and my God alone. No one believed that an opposition party could get a government in this country to roll back a tax. The Barbados Labour Party did it with the solid waste tax. We became committed when we heard of the great betrayal of this government to roll back their promises to you the last election, that they would not send home anyone, that they would not sell any state assets, that they would not charge fees at UE. We became committed to hit the byways and the highways and to rub shoulders with you and to have people's assemblies, because we knew that however long the journey, if we labored in a great cause, we would not fail.
For so hard yet. So come out election day, we voting Motley all the way. These are the last days for the BLP, cause we going with me and Motley. Whoa, we got to change the government for we own betterment. The last days for the BLP, cause we voting for me and Motley. Whoa, we got to change the government for we own betterment. Na 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 na, na 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 na, go away, goodbye. Na 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 na, na 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 na, go away, goodbye. I ain't got no money for me rent. The Dems take every last cent. But I'm smiling still cause I know where I put in me ex. And at the end of the day, when the Dems get blow away, we moving forward with no regrets. I was born a DLP baby. Since I can vote, I support that party. I didn't make this decision lightly, but it's time to think for my family. This government making me sweat. We never had it so hard yet. So come out election day, we voting Motley all the way. These are the last days for the DLP, cause we going with me and Motley. Whoa, we got to change the government for we own betterment. The last days for the DLP, cause we voting for me and Motley. Whoa, we got to change the government for we own betterment. Last day for the DLP, last day for the DLP. Whoa, we moving forward. Whoa, we moving forward. These are the last day for the DLP, last day for the DLP. Whoa, we moving forward. Whoa, we moving forward. Na 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 na, na 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 na, go away, goodbye. Na 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 na, na 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 na, go away, goodbye. Na 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 na, na 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 na, go away, goodbye.
Biggie Irie, produced by the Red Boys. We call it the Goodbye Song. Speaking of goodbyes, I take you now to St. Michael, Southeast. Solutions Barbados Francina Bourne, 48 votes. The United Progressive Party's Veronica Price, 13 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Rodney Grant, 382 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Santia Bradshaw, 1,810 votes. I'll repeat that. Solutions Barbados, 48 votes. The United Progressive Party, 13 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 382 votes. And the Barbados Labour Party, 1,810 votes. And that's for the constituency of St. Michael Southeast. The incumbent MP is Santia Bradshaw of the Barbados Labour Party, and currently she's ahead with a tally of 1,810 votes. This campaign has been inspired and motivated by party leader Mia Amar Motley, and throughout the course of the campaign we were able to capture her speaking, interacting, and inspiring us all. So we're going to go to another clip right now.
There were times when I went to Carlisle Car Park, as you know, and then against the injurious and oppressive solid waste tax, I asked you to join me. And we didn't know who would come. And I said to you then, Bishop Joe, if you recall, in the words of Timothy, that I speak not from a point of cowardice, but a spirit of love and of sound mind. And I said that I wanted you to walk with me, but be assured that I shall walk even if it is me and my God alone. No one believed that an opposition party could get a government in this country to roll back a tax. The Barbados Labour Party did it with the solid waste tax. We became committed when we heard of the great betrayal of this government to roll back their promises to you the last election, that they would not send home anyone, that they would not sell any state assets, that they would not charge fees at UE. We became committed to hit the byways and the highways and to rub shoulders with you and to have people's assemblies, because we knew that however long the journey, if we labored in a great cause, we would not fail.
Alrighty then, Party Leader Mia Amar Motley, as she spoke at the campaign launch. I now take you to the city of Bridgetown. The city of Bridgetown. Independent, Natalie Harewood, 12 votes. Solutions Barbados, Fallon Best, 13 votes. The UPP's Lynette Eastmond, 9 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Henderson Williams, 142 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Colonel Jeffrey Bostick, 401 votes. So, City of Bridgetown, Natalie Harewood, Independent, 12 votes. Solutions Barbados, 13 votes. The UPP, 9 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 142 votes. And the Barbados Labour Party, 401 votes. Colonel Jeffrey Bostick. We immediately go to St. Michael South. The UPP's Sandra Corbin, 362 votes. UPP, 362. The Democratic Labour Party, Frundell Stewart, 256. The Barbados Labour Party's Kurt Humphrey, 791. I repeat, St. Michael South. The UPP, Sandra Corbin, 362. The Democratic Labour Party, Frundell Stewart, 256. The Barbados Labour Party, Kurt Humphrey, 791. And spotted in the crowd, which is kind of difficult to do, everybody almost is in red, is the president, the face behind the Homeless and Vagrant Society of Barbados, Kimar Safri. But before we do that, may I go to St. Lucie? May I go to St. Lucie? The Democratic Labour Party, the constituency of St. Lucie. The Democratic Labour Party, Dennis Kelman, 372 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Peter Phillips, 1,082 votes. I repeat, the constituency of St. Lucie, the Democratic Labour Party, Dennis Kelman, 372 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, Peter Phillips, 1,082 votes. Kimar Safri, president of the Homeless and Vagrant Society, bedecked in his red shirt. Now, what prompted you, what inspired you to get behind the vision and the promises of the Barbados Labour Party for 2018?
Well, first of all, Carol, we've been out there campaigning Vote Barbados. We've been pushing that to rally vote. Also, with the homeless, we've been pushing them to vote as well. I think one of the things that really pleased me is when I look into the manifesto of the Barbados Labour Party, that they had a vision for the homeless. And that would have been in correspondence with the manifesto that we had put out to the various parties. And then when we look at the other parties, they said nothing about the homeless or what they would do for the homeless in this country. So it was really pleasing to me and my staff and the board to see that we had a party that was coming out and saying that they would help the homeless get off of the street, address mental health challenges, and be able to work with the organizations that support homelessness to move it to the next level, because we have about 527 people affected by homelessness in this country.
All right. Now, I am receiving a note from our production team that the Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation has declared St. Michael West as returning to the Barbados Labour Party and the new MP, Bishop Joseph Atherley. The Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation declaring St. Michael West in the column of the Barbados Labour Party, the candidate and the new Member of Parliament, Bishop Joseph Atherley. Kimar, let's look at that plan that you're talking about that the Labour Party has laid out for the homeless. What role do you see yourself playing and your association in rolling out that plan?
I see us partnering 100%, because that is something that we have been pushing with government, and they had failed to do it. They had failed to address the homelessness. They had failed to work with the organization. The minister at the time, when he was minister, would have said that he would not be working with the Barbados Vagrant and Homeless Society or myself if his government was to win back government. So
why do you think that was?
I think that the fact that we have been doing the work out there, I think that, you know, they're petty as ministers, that we've seen this bunch, and we have been doing the work, showing Barbados what we have been doing, and, you know, lo and behold, we've been attacked for doing the work. And as a young person in this country, I really feel that, you know, that is a level that no politician should stoop to ridicule young people for doing such good work. So we want to be able to be on board. Wherever the Barbados Labour Party government see us playing a role, we'll be happy to play a role and partner with the Barbados Labour Party government to make sure that persons are off the street every single night in Barbados.
You talk about your young people. Is the association, in terms of coordinators, made up primarily of young people?
Yes, my 4 staff are all young people, including myself. Very, very young persons working to make this. I don't think any of us have really surpassed our 30s as yet. I'm only 29. So we really are a bunch of young people. Our board are made up of young and mature persons. So we feel that, you know, we have pioneered such a good thing in Barbados, and we're just glad to see that the party has taken us seriously and are willing to help us push and get this homelessness dealt with in this country.
Now, you're a young man. You could have chosen anything else. Why did you choose to champion the plight of the vagrants and the homeless people of Barbados?
Well, Karen, to be honest, it's something that I believe that God just called me into when I became a Christian on the 4th of October 2009, and I believe that's what the Lord wanted me to do, and on the 19th of October 2009, that is what I started to do the same year. Until today, I mean, I have other businesses and I do other things in Barbados, but I go to the Barbados Vagrants and Homeless Society every day at 9 to 5, and I work to make sure that persons are off the street, because I believe this is my calling.
All right. Now, so many Barbadians have started out in public life by either working with a charitable association or picking up a cause. And eventually, by almost natural progression, it leads them into politics. Where are you on that journey, or are you not on that journey at all?
I'm on that journey. I've been speaking on a lot of platforms for about several candidates in terms of pushing vote and voter turnout. So I've seen it, and I believe that in the near future, given the chance, I would definitely like to get involved in politics and to run on the Barbados Labour Party ticket, of course, but definitely get involved in politics at any level that I can get into.
Right. Thank you very much for taking the time out. It's now 24 minutes to 3. I'm sure it's been a long day, well, Friday into Saturday, and best of luck with all of your future ventures.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Kimar Safri, president of the Homeless and Vagrant Society, decked out in his red shirt, saying that he was inspired by the contents of the BLP's manifesto as they relate to trying to provide succor and hope and support for the homeless and vagrants in Barbados, and not ruling out a future career as a politician. So as I said, moving right along, 23 minutes now before 3 o'clock as the numbers begin to come in, and as we continue to look back at the BLP's campaign 2018.
This one for the people. 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 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. We got to fight for we country. Fight. Let me go. What we need to come together. What we need to. 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. Hey. This country is yours. This country is mine. I know it be time for we to stand. For far too long, taking it for granted. But we will survive. I know. Everybody put your hands in the air right now. Let me go. Let me go. Let's give back the hope to everyone. It's time to rise up. Everybody knows. This is for you, Barbados. So everybody, put your hand in the air right now. Say, Barbados, Barbados, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Give it up. Barbados, yeah, yeah, Barbados, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Put your hands in the air right now. Let me go. This one for the people. 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 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. 'Cause we got to fight for we country. What we need to. What we need to. 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. 'Cause we got to fight for we country. If you love Barbados, put your hand in the air. If you love Barbados, put your hand in the air. Left, right, right. Let me go. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Pass it out. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Somebody scream. Say Barbados, Barbados. We're gonna make it. I know we can. We're gonna make it. Let me go. Let me go. Barbados, Barbados. We're gonna make it. Stop that, stop that, stop that, stop that, stop that.
Things rough. Are this it right? B to the L to the P party. You listening? Then out, B sing. Then out, B sing. No, go to the polls and vote. Call the DLP is a joke. Listen up. Then out, me a in. Then out, me a in. No, go to the polls and vote. Call the DLP is a joke. The DLP when the worthless. You better go back to school and practice. Boyfriend, they'll got enough chat. The people ain't been in war, hear that? Call when a trick, we already can't trick we again. Me and Motley gonna solve the problem. Now they mix up stuff. Don't tap out. Labour Party boy, we run the route. Things rough. Are this it right? B to the L to the P party. You listening? Then out, B sing. Then out, B sing. No, go to the polls and vote. Call the DLP is a joke. Listen up. Then out, me a in. Then out, me a in. No, go to the polls and vote. Call the DLP is a joke. The DLP when the worthless. You better go back to school and practice. Boyfriend, they'll got enough chat. The people ain't been in war, hear that? Call when a trick, we already can't trick we again. Me and Motley gonna solve the problem. Now they mix up stuff.
don't about. Labour Party boy, we run the route. Them out, be sing. Them out, be sing. Now go to the polls and vote. Cause the BLP is a joke. Listen up. Them out, me a in. Them out, me a in. Now go to the polls and vote. Cause the BLP is a joke. The BLP got put things on track.
Well, let's check the time. It is 18 minutes before 3 o'clock, and I've got quite a bit of extensive footage of our party leader, Mia Amor Motley, and she is in her constituency at the moment, I'm told. Let's take a look. All right, so we're going to get that sorted, but I've got something that's even better. I'm taking you to St. Philip South. The Democratic Labour Party's Adriel Brathwaite, 341 votes. The Barbados Labour Party's Inda Ware, 1,429 votes. St. Philip South, I repeat, the Democratic Labour Party, Adriel Brathwaite, 341 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, Inda Ware, 1,429 votes. Now let's go very quickly to St. Michael South Central. St. Michael South Central. Now, in St. Michael South Central, we've got representing the UPP, David Gill. Solutions Barbados is Alan Springer. The DLP, the candidate Richard Seeley. And the Barbados Labour Party's candidate is Marcia Cattle. The Democratic Labour Party, Richard Seeley, 327 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, Marcia Cattle, 857 votes. I repeat, St. Michael South Central. The Democratic Labour Party, 327 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, Marcia Cattle, 857 votes. Now, do we have that video with the party leader?
Hello?
And that is party leader Mia Amor Motley. I can see her mother and her brother and party supporters. And this is at the St. Matthew's School, I'm told. Yes, at the St. Matthew's School. Well, back here at Roebuck Street, the crowd just continues to get larger and larger. And we're also chatting with someone from the crowd at the moment. Flag and all. Have a seat? Of course you can have a seat. All right. So, what's your name?
Blaze.
Kareen
Hope Blaze.
Hope Blaze.
Yes.
Now you've got your flag, you've got your red shirt.
Yes, I'm
Now,
so happy.
You're so happy. Now, come into the microphone. What makes you happy?
To actually vote in this historic moment. This is a historic moment for me. You know, like I say to all my friends, when I grow old and gray, and I look back and remembered that I was part of this moment, I voted for my first female prime minister. And you know what resonated with me? Despite all the critics, give me the vote and watch me. I love it. And you know, I said and I told all the young people in Barbados, they need to listen. They need to listen to the facts. They need to listen to what Barbados Labour Party has to offer for this economic crisis going forward. And I can say that they were very informative, and that is what helped us to make our decisions going forward. Hip hip to Barbados. George Payne in the house. George Payne all the way. St. Andrew.
Let me guess then that you are from the constituency of St. Andrew.
Yes, I am from the constituency of St. Andrew.
Now, is this the first time you would have voted in an election?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so what made this, I know you talked about history and all the rest, but what made this one special for you?
Well, in this hard economic crisis, things are so hard in Barbados. And I said, if it is no other time, I am a BLP supporter. I have BLP in my blood. And I say to everyone, you all need to get up and vote. I rotate all over Barbados for Barbados Labour Party. I send out text messages. I use my Facebook. I walk and I talk and I tell everyone, Barbados Labour Party, Team BLP, go forward and vote. And I feel very nice tonight.
Wow. You want to give a prediction out of the 30 seats, how many the Barbados Labour Party will win?
Actually,
you hear them?
Let me tell you the truth. The truth, at first, I said to everyone, it will be 27-3. Whenever I would say to some person, what's the time? 27-3. But it seems as though we would have all 30. And I welcome all 30.
I want to thank you very much.
Thank
Great
you so
spirit.
much, Carol.
You're welcome.
Yes.
And I am now going to give you the final results for St. Michael West. My graphics team, are you ready? My final results for St. Michael West. Now in St. Michael West, for the UPP, we had Patsy Nurse. For Solutions Barbados, Lana Toussaint. For BIM, we had Neil Holder. For the Democratic Labour Party, we had Michael Carrington. And for the Barbados Labour Party, Bishop Joseph Atherley. And so the final results of St. Michael West are as follows. The Barbados Integrity Movement, 32 votes. The United Progressive Party, 45 votes. Solutions Barbados, 53 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, Michael Carrington, 838 votes. The final result for St. Michael West, the duly declared representative, Bishop Joseph Atherley of the Barbados Labour Party, with a final tally of 3,214 votes. The constituency of St. Michael West declared the new Member of Parliament, Bishop Joseph Atherley, with a final total of 3,214 votes. And at this time, 8 minutes before 3 o'clock. Anybody tired? Anybody tired? Well, we hope that the results keep coming as quickly as they have been for the past couple of hours. And of course, we have captured so many moments from BLP campaign 2018. Let's take in another one.
Barbados cannot take 5 more years of either Frondell Stewart or Chris Sinclair. We cannot take 5 more years of no growth. We cannot take 5 more years of thousands of people losing their jobs. We cannot take 5 more years of rising cost of living. We cannot take 5 more years of ever-increasing taxation. We cannot take 5 more years of failing services. 5 more years without water, without proper roads. You imagine 5 more years of sewage, raw, on the streets in Barbados? We cannot take 5 more years, ladies and gentlemen. Better can be done, and this Barbados Labour Party will do better. And I want to say to all of you, that surrounded by the spirit of our national hero, Sir Grantley, all of us need to be heroes. All of us need to be heroes. All of us need to stand up. As we see what is happening around us, we need to stand up, and when the time comes, we need to act. We need to act decisively and place our X's where it will matter. And it will matter when we vote for the Barbados Labour Party to get rid of the Democratic Labour Party as the government of this country. I want to touch on something before I finish. I am hearing some people in Barbados talking about entitlements. I am hearing people in Barbados who should know better saying that you, myself, everybody else can't expect government to be providing this and providing that. But ladies and gentlemen, if you pay your taxes, aren't you entitled to decent roads? If you are paying VAT in the supermarkets, aren't you entitled to good health care? If you are paying national social responsibility levy that was introduced and increased so that the hospital can be funded, should you be expected to take in toilet paper and bed sheets when you go for health care? Asking me to pay a tax and then telling me that I shouldn't expect any entitlements is like me building a house and then you telling me that I can't live in it. Or I go into a supermarket and pay for a loaf of bread and the owner tells me, well, you paid for the bread, but I only giving you 2 biscuits. That is not entitlement. If I've paid for it, and if you've paid for it, then it is yours. Don't let anybody tell you any foolishness about entitlement. You deserve what you have paid for. I deserve what I have paid for. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you this evening that we have to do what is necessary. And I want particularly to appeal to those who may be listening out there or watching, who may have voted in the past for the Democratic Labour Party, to recognize that to be a true hero, you have to put aside some of what you've thought in the past and do what is right for Barbados today in 2018. You have to vote for the Barbados Labour Party. And I stand proudly in this hall today as part of a team that includes Dale Marshall, that includes Mayor Amon Motley, that is led by Mayor Motley, to say to all of Barbados and to say to all of you that we will do better. Better can be done. Better will be done. We stand together. And I say to you, ladies and gentlemen, times are tough. Times are hard. But as the good book says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy, ladies and gentlemen, will come in the morning. God bless all of you. Good afternoon.
Candidate for St. Peter, Colin Jordan. Joy in the morning. And at 3 minutes before 3, here is some joy. I'm taking you to the constituency of St. Joseph. The candidates, the independent candidate, Randall Rouse, Solutions Barbados, Jennifer Highland, the DLP, Dennis Holder, and the BLP candidate, Dale Marshall. Solutions Barbados, Jennifer Highland, 71 votes. Independent, Randall Rouse, 386 votes. The Democratic Labour Party's Dennis Holder, 365 votes. For the Barbados Labour Party, Dale Marshall, 2,083 votes. Recapping St. Joseph, Solutions Barbados, 71 votes. Independent, Randall Rouse, 386 votes. The Democratic Labour Party, 365 votes. The Barbados Labour Party, Dale Marshall, 2,083 votes. And we are receiving notification that Ian Gooden Edgell has been declared the winner in his constituency. We're just awaiting the official data, but Ian Gooden Edgell declared the new Member of Parliament for that constituency. We are still following the leader as she begins to make her way to right here, which is currently Party Central and BLP Central. So let's see where she is at the moment.
People of St. Michael Northeast, that I would traditionally spend, I would be in and out of the polling stations for the full 12 hours of election day. This is the first election in 7 elections that I did not enter a polling station in St. Michael Northeast. And I want to thank my campaign manager, Reverend Beverly Lashley, an election agent, as she was the only one able and capable, therefore, of entering the polling stations for me today. I want to thank my team, my constituency assistant, Lavon Goodman, the rest of the office staff, Keisha, Akeem, Tony. But I also want to thank some of my canvassers who have been with me from day one, and to do so I'm not excluding anyone, but some have been with us from day one, like Marcus to my right, Jeff, Redman, who's in the back, Marcel, Ricky. Too many. Rudy. Rhonda, Pat, Lara, Monica Hendricks, all of us, Shirley Beckers, and then of course my counting agents who have been with me now in so many elections that I can't remember, Debbie Hughes, Sue Lynch, and my 2 brothers Stuart and Warren. It has been a well-functioning machine in terms of getting things done. And I really want to thank them, because this is the victory of the people of St. Michael Northeast more than anything. You have carried me where I could not carry myself. And you've taken me to 4,000 plus votes. And I could not do it without you. And I therefore want to thank you. I commit to ensuring that we continue the development. When I stand in this churchyard and this primary school, I remember what it first looked like in 1989. Trust me, it's a far cry. One of the first things we did in 1994 was to take a school that was to be shut down and children to be moved from this community to Cuthbert Moore. And we determined that there was a need for this primary school, and we built that building there, and we fixed up all of these buildings. Regrettably, there is need for some maintenance again, as there is with so many other buildings across the country. There have been so many things that you have been deprived of a decade. Large change that I would like to see in this country is to recognize that there are certain basic services that the taxpayers pay for that they should not be deprived of, irrespective of who is their political representative. So I want to thank you. I am deeply conscious that, as I said, without God, without you, without commitment, we would not be here. Somewhere called 111 Roebuck Street. Thank you very much.
And there you have it, Party Leader Mia Amor Motley outside St. Matthew's School. We've got final numbers for the constituency of St. Michael West Central. The candidates for the UPP, Henderson Lowe. For Solutions Barbados, Angela Eady. For the Barbados Integrity Movement, Stephen Belgrave. Representing the Democratic Labour Party, James Paul. And the Barbados Labour Party, represented by Ian Goodin Edgell. Ian Goodin Edgell has been declared the duly elected representative for the constituency of St. Michael West Central. James Paul polled 865 votes. Ian Goodin Edgell of the Barbados Labour Party polled 3,291 votes. Ian Goodin Edgell declared the new Member of Parliament for St. Michael West Central with a total of 3,291 votes, and therefore declared the duly elected representative. And at this time, we have a chat with Prophet Janal Brown. And you would have met. Good morning.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. We would have ministered with Prophet Janal Brown at the campaign launch, campaign liftoff 2018. So, what brings you to 111 Roebuck Street on this Friday morning, now 5 minutes after 3?
Prophecy must be fulfilled.
Yeah, go ahead.
You know, the thing is, well, we've been prophesying it for the last 4 years on nearly every single radio program that we have in Barbados. We have about 3 major radio programs in terms of the audience, of the Christian audience. So we've been prophesying that Mia will be the next Prime Minister of Barbados for the last 4 years. He had a lot of critics, but reality of it, when God says it, you know, no one can change it.
You prayed for us and with us at the campaign launch. What was your ministry like after that?
Wow, after that launch was, you know how the critics come. You know, everybody talks about, oh, okay, this popular prophet he's being kind of biased because he was on the BLP pulpit, but the Lord said it for the last 4 years straight, and before we got there, before you called us, to come and pray that same evening, I asked the Lord, what do you really want me to say for the BLP? And the Lord said to me, nothing else than outstanding victories over the elections. And when we look this morning, we have seen prophecy come to pass that God has truly spoken, that we have seen outstanding victories in the BLP. We have seen it.
Now, there are skeptics, lots of skeptics. As soon as you use prophesy, people begin to think of hocus pocus and all the rest. But what leads you to a prophecy or your prophecy?
Well, I've been in office of prophet for the last 12 years. I've ministered to people such as Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonzalez. I prophesied about the airport too as well to him a couple years ago. The airport is fulfilled for St. Vincent. I prophesied the Guyana government. I prophesied the St. Lucia government, and also to as well the Trinidad government. And Barbados makes the fourth significant government that I've prophesied. But what makes it so special is many people always think that I'm always from the Brooklyn or Manhattan or whatever, because they always think that something great can come outside of Barbados. But what makes it so significant about this prophecy is the home drums beat first. And this is a prophecy that have come to pass in terms of Barbados. Because it's hard when you prophesy different nations and, different governments have come to pass on their radio program. You get on a flight, you leave. But, with this one here, if it didn't come to pass, well, you know what it's going to be, Carol. It's going to be the critics, the ones that wanted to say, oh, I know he was prophesying, although being on the radio program for the last 12 years. But you know what? We have seen it. I thank God for vindicating the word that he said that Mia Mottley will be the next Prime Minister of Barbados. And the heavens have sounded. We said it at Weymouth that it will be outstanding victories and it will soon change and history was going to be made. And this morning, history is being made.
My final question to you, Prophet Janelle Brown. Now that it looks as though we're coursing towards a victory, after and with a new BLP government, what sort of relationship would you want to have in terms of working with and, looking at projects and things like that?
Well, I'll give, if I can say, soon to be Prime Minister Mia Mottley. She's just a humble lady. When we first met her, she was like, Prophet, you can call me Mia. It was such love, that came from her heart. And, when we look in the future, and some people say, is God really involved in this political thing and for BLP? But when she sat down with us, however, she really talked about the chaplains and stuff like that, and really her heart for the church to really have a voice in the government, and direction. And we give her about the next 7 years what the Lord is saying concerning Barbados and the economy and different parts of it. And I really think, however, is not just a beginning thing, is a continuous thing. And just like the chaplains that she's going to have in terms of in the government, really have a voice and stuff like that. We look forward for those things. And, the thing is, however, that God is in charge. And the thing is, I believe that she has put God first. She's listened, she's heard, and the voice speaks. Everything has come to pass. There's nothing much that we can say. That prophecy has been fulfilled.
But keep praying.
I want
to thank you very much, Prophet Janelle Brown.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So it is 9 minutes after 3 o'clock on a Friday morning, and I'm receiving notification that Glyne Clark, St. George North has been declared the winner in that constituency and returns as its member of parliament. So St. George North, Glyne Clark was up against Jepter Ince of the DLP, Grenville Phillips of Solutions Barbados, and Everton Holligan of the UPP. Ladies and gentlemen, Bishop Joe Atherley. Wow. Morning.
Morning, Carol. Morning, everybody.
Bishop Joseph Atherley. Face looks fresh. You ready to run again?
Of course.
What was today like for you?
It was a tremendous day. It was hectic. Had to get on top of some situations. But as usual, we kept our calm, we kept our poise, and we remained focused. And at the end of the day, we rejoice in the success of the people of St. Michael West.
All right. Were you able to touch base with any of your fellow candidates that are bordering you? Have a peep in to see what was happening with Arthur, what was happening with Ian Good and Edgell. And we're now receiving word that both Arthur and Ian have been declared winners in their respective constituencies.
Hallelujah. I didn't get a chance to peep in on any of these guys. I knew these guys were doing pretty well. I expect them to be in victory's row at the end of the day. So we just sort of knuckled down and did our business in St. Michael West as well.
Let's talk about your team. You had an amazing team with you. At every meeting where you had an entrance with your entourage, sometimes you couldn't see you. You were so swamped by members of your team. So let's talk about the coalition that you brought together.
I had a wonderful team, some older, many of them young, some in between, of course. They were very enthusiastic. They were very purposed in what they were doing. They understood the urgency of the hour in Barbados, bought into the philosophy and policies of the Barbados Labour Party, those of them who were new to this business. And they were excited. I mean, there were issues, a little hiccups here and there. That is to be expected. Tensions. We believe that we operate like a family, so you get the odd spit and the odd spot. But they remain focused and remain concentrated on the purpose. Very excited, very enthusiastic, hardworking, going out there, some of them more often than I did. And I applaud them and thank them.
Now, we have heard at length about the Barbados Labour Party's plans for the country. What do you want for your constituency of St. Michael West?
Well, job opportunities. I mean, people think that when you encounter young men in particular, as a politician, the first thing they're going to ask you to is to give them a drink or some such thing. I have not found that necessarily to be the case. The guys I run into all say, Rev, we want work, fellas want jobs, fellas want jobs, fellas want jobs, fellas want jobs. And that's job number one for me, to see how I can use the Office of Government to ensure that the job situation in Barbados is improved so that the young people in St. Michael West can get jobs. We need 1 or 2 recreational facilities in 1 or 2 areas. Can you imagine we have one of the biggest school plants in St. Michael, perhaps in Barbados, at St. Leonard's. We've regraded the playing field, but there's no lighted facility. We want to see that done. There's a very dangerous canal situation at Bridge Gap, which we think we must address. I think it's a tragedy waiting to happen. We want to see that urban transfer of title program resumed with vigor and with robustness so that people could come into ownership. And I want to develop human beings as human beings. It's human development we're talking about. Infrastructure development is fine, but social human development is even more so important in my view.
All right. Now, here's a question from left field. What are you going to do for the remainder of Friday?
It's Friday today? Yes.
Yes, it is Friday.
I'll probably sleep as usual for 1 hour, 2 hours. That's what I get at night, Carol. You may not believe that. I'll probably sleep for 1 or 2 hours. Then I'm back in the office to see what loose ends we need to tie up. Of course, there's some people we need to pay. Get together with the team, have some time of relaxation, and of course, plan the big celebratory motorcade for the weekend.
All right. Thank you very much. I think we can all join and congratulate Bishop Joseph Atherley.
Thank you very much, Carol. Thank you very much.
And we are now receiving word, ladies and gentlemen, that Frundell Stewart has conceded. Frundell Stewart has conceded and has accepted the mandate of the people that the next government of Barbados will be formed by the Barbados Labour Party. So without further ado, I think we could really go to a song, Shimon. Edwin Yearwood, this one for the people.
This one for the people. This one for the people. This one for the people. This one for the people. This one for the people. This one for the people. This one for the people. This one for the people. 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. This country is yours. This country is mine. I know it's the time for we to stand. Far too long, taking we for granted, but we will survive. I know we can. We need the country back where it belongs. Let's give back the hope to everyone. It's time to rise up. Everybody know. If you know we can, time to show them how. Let me go. Barbados, Barbados. We're gonna make it. I know we can. We're gonna make it. Standing as one. Yeah.
Let me come together. Auntie, uncle, sister, and brother. Saying, go, have a got the red one, but make the red moves, right, help one another. Let me step on this, say, what is the week of the keep strong again, climb back up the ladder. Take it from exit and beat to round and dada.
This one for the people. 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 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. Yeah. Fight for we country. What we need to come together. What we need to come together. 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. Ready for the future, a future together. Wake up everyone, this country in pain. Let's bring back the smiles to every home. Barbados will rise, we will rise again. Tell me, are you ready to live again? People get up and let's make the change. We already know, forward together. Say it out loud, we coming again. Everybody sing. Yeah, yeah. Barbados. We're gonna make it. I know we can. We're gonna make it. Standing let me go. Let me go. Barbados. Oh, oh. Yes. We're gonna make it. I know we can. We got to make it. Standing as one. This one for the people. 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 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. Yeah. Fight for we country. What we need to come together. What we need to come together. 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. This country is yours. This country is mine. I know it's the time for we to stand. Far too long, taking we for granted, but we will survive. I know we can. We need the country back where it belongs. Let's give back the hope to everyone. It's time to rise up. Everybody know. If you know we can, time to show them how. Let me go. Barbados, Barbados. We're gonna make it. I know we can. We're gonna make it. Standing as one. Yeah.
Let me come together. Auntie, uncle, sister, and brother. Saying, go, have a got the red one, but make the red moves, right, help one another. Let me step on this, say, what is the week of the keep strong again, climb back up the ladder. Take it from exit and beat to round and dada.
This one for the people. 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 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. Yeah. Fight for we country. What we need to come together. What we need to come together. 'Cause we got to fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country. Fight for we country.
Tell me what you want. BLP all aboard.
I got this waiting to see what's happening next.
BLP. What yo? What Barbados want? BLP. Whoa, yo. Well, let me go, let me go, let me go. We making history. We heading out for victory. We voting BLP. That is the best for the country.
Wow. People, and noise and celebration. Let me repeat officially that Frindell Stewart of the Democratic Labour Party has conceded the election to the Barbados Labour Party, making Mia Amor Motley the Prime Minister designate and the first female Prime Minister of Barbados. So we will continue to bring you the results constituency by constituency as they come to hand, but it is official. The Democratic Labour Party under Frindell Stewart has conceded the election to Mia Amor Motley and Team Barbados Labour Party 2018. And as we await the arrival of the Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister designate, we're going to continue to chat. We're going to continue to enjoy the music. And right now, I'm going to have a chat with Jan Hartley. And even if you don't know the name, when you see the face, you're going to go, I know her. She's been with the Barbados Labour Party for years. Good morning, Jan.
Good morning, Carol. Good morning, everyone.
Special morning for you?
Yes, for sure. This is one of the best mornings I've ever had.
Now, how long have you been involved with the Barbados Labour Party and been around working during elections?
I would say roughly about 40 years.
Wow. How did you start your involvement with the Labour Party?
Okay, I was brought up in a Labour Party house, but as I got older, I sought it out. I checked for myself, and I realized that I liked the policies of the party, and I just followed.
What did you do in this election?
I worked at headquarters. I was doing everything from telephone reception to making calls to whatever was needed to help my party become the next government of Barbados.
And you must be so happy this morning. It is now 24 after 3.
I am elated because I have lived to see Barbados crown its first female Prime Minister in the name of Mia Amor Motley. You couldn't want it better than that.
You were also involved with the women's movement of the party, the Women's League.
Yes, I formerly headed the Women's League between 2012 to about 2015. And now I'm still supporting, and I plan to support until the day God calls me home.
All right. I want to, first of all, congratulate you on the victory. A victory is never just an election victory, not just a victory of the candidates, but the hundreds and sometimes thousands of people who work behind the scenes. So good job. Congratulations.
Thank you, and congratulations to all concerned.
All right. So Jan Hartley, who would have worked tirelessly on several campaigns, and she is particularly proud of her involvement in the 2018 campaign. Now, they tell me that the Prime Minister designate is on her way to Roebuck Street. Of course, we would want to encourage you to be on your best behavior. But once again, let's take a look back at Team BLP 2018 as you see the Prime Minister designate on her way to Roebuck Street, and not a moment of relaxation, as you can see, already getting down to work.
I have come across single parents, single either by death, their spouses have died, or single otherwise, that are struggling under this NSRL and the increased VAT. Middle class people I've met middle class people, beautiful houses on the outside, and when you're going to tell you I'm a doctor, so people tend to tell me things. They tell you, Doc, my husband and I have been living off of biscuits and sardines for a couple of weeks. One told me she and her husband were digging between the car seats to get change to buy a pack of ramen. This is what my people are going through. And it really hurts me. I am witness to a healthcare system that is not supporting our elderly. And now I have people that I have to figure out how to get them under control again after the drug service made a mess of things. These things hurt. And it has nothing to do with politics. This is the problem of being a doctor. You take home the blasted work with you. I saw 3 little children at the bus stop yesterday. Can't get to school at 9:30 in the day. Put them in my car and carry them, because this is foolishness that my people can't get an education. Thank you. I am sorry. I apologize. Things are hard. I go in the supermarket every week, sometimes every 2 weeks. I have a little girl that I sacrifice. I bring her with me to almost every meeting because I want to see Barbados do better. 2 nights in a row, she fell asleep at the back of a truck because the fight is real for our country. I make up a bed for her at the back of a pickup truck. This is what I go through to fight for my people. And where is Michael Lashley? The best he could do is to call me Dr. Boo Boo. The best he could do is call John King, Johnny come lately. The best he could do is call Indar Underwear. Has he nothing better to give? I got a whole big manifesto. If he want bar 2 points, he can have them. They do not care about you. I guarantee it. They do not care about you.
Can't see. Let me turn down the light.
The best thing to do is call Johnny come lately. The best thing to do is call Indar Underwear. Has he nothing better to give? I got a whole big manifesto. If you want more 2 points, he can have them. They do not care about you. I guarantee it. They do not care about you.
Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018. Best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018. Best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018. Best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018. Best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Put your ex for me up. Our country no leader. Put your ex for me up. She can do it for you. Put your ex from me up, Molly. She can do it for you. Put your ex from me up. Put poor get none. Nothing we ain't put your eggs for me a money. So it's flowing and a bus no run. No bus. Garbage boiling when it gone done. Income tax when it gone come. I don't know. Should be coming with Clico money. 10 years them's had we in the dark, but the BLP come to turn it round. Oh gosh, turn on the light. Oh gosh. All the years you want employment, now they want a point, you know elections come around. Oh gosh, give me a this spot rough. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Put your ex for me, our country no leader. True leader. Put your ex for me, she can do it for you. Put your ex for me, money, she can do it for you. BLP, put your ex for me, put your ex for me. Rough, for years them do the country wrong. Make the economy tumble down. Them's eating and the poor get none. Nothing we ain't put your ex for me, money. So it's flowing and a bus no run. Garbage boiling when it gone done. Income tax when it gone come. I don't know. Should be coming with Clico money. 10 years them's had we in the dark, but the BLP come to turn it round. Oh gosh, turn on the light. Oh gosh. All the years you want employment, now they want a point, you know elections come around. Oh gosh, give me a this spot rough. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Put your ex for me, our country no leader. True leader. Put your ex for me, she can do it for you. Put your ex for me, money, she can do it for you. BLP, put your ex for me, put your ex for me. Rough, for years them do the country wrong. Make the economy tumble down. Them's eating and the poor get none. Nothing we ain't put your ex for me, money. So it's flowing and a bus no run. No bus. Garbage boiling when it gone done. Income tax when it gone come. I don't know. Should be coming with Clico money. 10 years them's had we in the dark, but the BLP come to turn it round. Oh gosh, turn on the light. Oh gosh. All the years you want employment, now they want a point, you know elections come around. Oh gosh, give me a this spot rough. Put your ex for me, money, she can do it for you. BLP, put your ex for me, put your ex for me. Rough, put your ex for me, money, she can do it for you. BLP, put your ex for me, money, put your ex for me. I want you go and vote for me, Marley. Put on your ex, put on your ex for the BLP. I want you. Hey, oi, Marsville, BLP 2018, best for Barbados. Yeah, your ex. Put your ex for me, our country no leader. True leader. Put your ex for me, she can do it for you. Put your ex for me, money, she can do it for you. BLP, put your ex for me, put your ex for me. Rough, for you.
Hold it, BLP got the place crowded. All aboard? Yeah. You ready to roll? Yeah. Can I talk just a little bit? Can I really talk just a little bit? Can I really talk just a little bit? Hold on. Now is the time. Everybody ready? Go tell your friends. Tell your whole family. Tell the stranger upon the left. Tell the stranger upon the right. We rolling with BLP. It's one chance to make this right. Together we rolling. Together we moving. Together we working. And we building. Tell me how you're feeling. You know why? All our way to BLP. All our way one family. All our way to BLP. All our way with me up. Come let me step with me up. Be making it better. With me up. Climbing up the ladder. With me up. Be looking back. Lad. Everybody know come get aboard. We ain't taking no more heavy load. No. Let me come together and make things better. No, we're ready for the road. We don't want no drama. No, get on board with me. It's one big family and we rolling with BLP. Together we rolling. Together we moving. Together we working. And we building. Tell me how you're feeling. You know why? All our way to BLP. All our way.
To God be the glory. Great things he hath done. My fellow Bajans, a very good morning to you. Let me first thank the Almighty God for navigating us through these very difficult times. But above all else, cease and settle, cease and settle, cease and settle. Let me first thank Almighty God for navigating us through these very difficult times these last few weeks, but above all else, without a single incident. We cannot take it for granted. The conduct of a peaceful and fair campaign must forever be a hallmark of Barbados. This is what Grant Lee Adams and the Barbados Labour Party fought for many years ago. And notwithstanding all of this, we thank God for giving us as Barbadians the willpower to survive and surmount the several challenges and the distractions. Dame Billy, please come on stage, please. Thank you. I want to thank Barbadians for having the willpower to surmount the many distractions and the challenges that were placed before us over the course of the last few weeks. Bajans chose to do what is best for Barbados. I thank you for that. The counting is still continuing, and the General Secretary has advised me that the chairman of the party and others are still at their respective stations. But we are conscious of the lateness of the hour or the earliness of the morning, and therefore we want to be able to address you. I have not yet spoken to Prime Minister Stewart, but I've heard, cease and settle, not about here, not about here. But I heard Prime Minister Stewart concede just now on radio, and I thank him for the concession, and I thank him for his service to Barbados. The people have spoken. I want to thank you, the people in particular, the thousands who are here and the thousands who were with us throughout this entire campaign, because this victory is not mine. This victory is not the Labour Party's. This victory is the people of Barbados' victory. This truly has been the people's campaign. And I've said that to you all along as we started the process 4 years ago of rubbing shoulders and hosting the people's assemblies. And this must be our legacy to the people of Barbados, to give you back your government and governance. I want, and forgive me for a few seconds, to thank my parents, my mother and my father. my brothers and my sister and my extended family, this has not been an easy road for them, and I'm conscious for every politician who is on this stage. And we heard Prime Minister Stewart refer to it tonight too. Families are collateral damage in public life, and I therefore have to thank them for enduring much of what has happened when we choose to offer public service. But I want to thank my campaign manager, Jerome Walcott. Come forward, sir. Jerome has been with me from day one in this term. And I know it has never been easy to walk aside and to manage here and to walk away from elective politics. And I say only elective politics because I can assure you he has not walked away from government or politics. But I thank Jerome for keeping 111 Roebuck Street together at all times, because I could not have the freedom to work with you across the country unless he kept this 111 Roebuck Street stable and secure. And I want to thank two people. I want to thank Mr. Hartley Henry, who has been with us since 2010 as a strategist. Many of you may not know things dread, we vote in red. Hartley. And the notion that this campaign must always belong to the people allowed myself and him to have a bond that has worked wonderfully well for the people of Barbados. Come, Hartley. Thank you very much. Without him, we could not be here tonight. Thank you. And I want to thank Lucille Moore, who has perfected the art of working till she drops, and who has been the mastermind of the entire ground campaign of the Barbados Labour Party, and indeed many other campaigns in the region. Thank you, Lucille. And Lucille has been there as my campaign manager, everyone since 1991 when I entered elective politics. And I want to thank Clyde Maskell. Clyde has been at my side policy-wise since 2007. We spent a weekend together in Washington. And it was at that point we realized that we were kindred spirits on policy. But Clyde has been able to anchor much of what we're doing, and I thank him for walking this journey with me. And I want to thank Pat Paris, my executive assistant, who has been there along the way helping to carry a lot of what the nuts and bolts of making this thing happen. Thank you very much, Pat. And forgive me this personal moment. I first met Billy Miller when I was a young school child. Just before I did, about 14, 15 years old. Come, Billy. But the truth is, the one moment that stands in my memory was when I walked into her house the Saturday when I got back my A-level results, and she looked at me and she shook her head. She never stopped doing what she was doing over the kitchen sink, and she said, "You did exactly as you said you would do. Not good enough." And Billy has since then been a source of inspiration and a mentor for me in public life. And I can think of no more fitting time for me to thank her publicly for the last 29 years as a member of this great political party. Hers yours has been an example of simply class and dignity. Thank you. So, my friends, I also want to congratulate George Payne, who is not here, my chairman, and to thank George for the leadership that he has displayed of this political party over the course of the last 2.5 years as its chairman. We could not walk this journey unless we walked it as a united team. And I thank George, wherever you are in St. Andrew tonight, my brother. I look forward to seeing you in the very, very near future, in the next few hours. I want to thank my members of Parliament. I want to thank those who have been re-elected, but I want to welcome to the House of Assembly those who have never served in the House of Assembly. For them, this has been a special journey. And I say to you tonight, I have seen in my candidates a level of sacrifice and a level of commitment that has made me proud to be their leader. Last night at Bay Street, I said, and I meant it, leading this team has been the privilege of my life. It is now for us to move forward because the electioneering has stopped as of yesterday. I want to commiserate with those who have lost their seats today. And I commiserate because that is who we are. And we thank them for their service, irrespective of whatever else. The truth is that those who offered themselves and who were not successful are not only incumbents, but there were young people who took courage, like young Kimar who ran against me, and who many of you may have seen me hugging in the paper because I salute him for his courage and his commitment to citizenship in this country. I urge them to continue in the spirit of service and in bipartisanship in helping us rebuild this country. Barbados, my friends, has always prided itself on the seamless ability to be able to move from one government to another. In America, there's a long interregnum before presidents are sworn in. In our case, that is not so. We get to the task immediately. And that, for us, is good as a small nation. But as we do that, I ask you, our supporters, to recognize that there can be no time for gloating and no time for unwarranted moaning or groaning. We are one people. We are Barbadians. And this should come as no surprise to you, because this is something I have said over and over and over in our speeches. And there's a time now for healing that must take place in this nation. Because if we are to move forward and to face the challenges that lie ahead of us, then, my friends, we have to be prepared to heal and to allow many hands to make light work. That is our mandate. And as for the mandate you have given us, let me say that I remember tonight that each of us will have a role to play. I said so every night on the platform to you. And I said it's not going to be overnight. And I pulled the speaker each night to remind you that many hands make light work. And that we shall do this, the rebuilding of our Barbados, together as a people. Guided by this mandate, which is overwhelming, we are conscious that we have to get to the task immediately. And in our manifesto, we set out the difference between things that are mission critical and things that are transformational. Mission critical simply means we have no time but to get to the task. And there are a few that I remind you of tonight, even though the morning is early. One, we have to reverse the rapid decline in our foreign reserves as a matter of urgency as we go forward to pay foreign debt this month. And we have to deal with our debt. Against this background, we shall release today the IMF Article 4 report so that Barbadians may see an independent assessment of where we truly are. Secondly, we have to revitalize our social partnership, which has effectively not met regularly and meaningfully in the last few years. We cannot do this without bringing the labor unions and the private sector and the NGOs and the churches to the table. And while the central governance of our nation will occupy the attention of the main social partnership, we have committed to a committee of social justice that must include the churches and the non-governmental organizations along with the unions and the private sector. We have also committed, my friends, to relieving the noose of taxes from amongst your necks. For we recognize that if this economy is to grow again, then Bajans must have access, Clyde, to greater disposable income. And we gave you a commitment that within the next few months, that will be business number one for us. And as of next week, we convene the mission critical team to deal with the South Coast Sewage Project. Barbados cannot be seen as a country that lays and plays, does nothing, while sewage flows on our streets and into our waters, because this is not who we are. And we cannot pay our bills if we allow this situation to continue. And we have committed that we need to get buses back on the road, because Bajans must be able to have a reliable transport system. And that will be a combination of fixing buses as well as buying buses as a matter of urgency so you can get to work and get to wherever you have to go. And finally, we have committed to dealing with the garbage trucks as a matter of urgency. And as it relates to the pensioners, we have told you we will raise the minimum contributory and the minimum non-contributory pensions as a matter of urgency. And we will consult with the Ministry of Finance and the National Insurance Board to do so, because our pensioners must be able to live in this country. My friends, the way forward will not be easy. There is no elixir, there is no magical remedy. There is no single shot solution. But if we do not move with alacrity, we will not succeed. And what we have promised you is to stop the bleeding, but at the same time, lay the platform for the transformation of our nation. As it relates to the mandate that you have given us, I am deeply conscious that in the absence of an official opposition in the House of Assembly, we will have to evolve institutional arrangements to be able to allow Barbadians to have a greater say in the governance of this country. All ideas must contend. Even before a government has the right to take a decision, all ideas must contend. And we have already committed in our manifesto to putting in place a framework for people's initiatives that come from you and are not started with us, the members of parliament. We have committed to referenda because we believe that there are certain fundamental issues that some will be buying, be gloating. There's no way that there will be a mistrust of the absolute mandate that you have given us, the people of the Barbados Labour Party. We will be your stewards at all times. So that let us move forward, recognizing, my friends, that this truly is a defining moment in our history. Not for what people immediately assume about me being a woman, but more so because it is about people claiming their future. And the people of Barbados tonight have claimed their future with a new interactive mode of governance. And that is what we shall give you. We shall temper our celebrations and thank the Almighty that the image of our country once again will be molded by you, the people of this country. And while today marks the end of electioneering, I say to you that at the appropriate time, over the course of the next weekend, we shall have Thanksgiving celebrations for you, the people of Barbados. As for today, the truth is that today is payday. It is. And I've said to you that there are people who are living from month to month or week to week. So what I have done is that I have spoken to the head of the private sector, and I've spoken to the General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, and I've spoken to the head of the Bankers Association. And we will warn all schools will be closed today. It will be nigh impossible for the Electoral and Boundaries Commission to ready schools for school in the morning. So there will be no school today, Friday, the 25th of May. Secondly, because it is payday, we are conscious that we cannot have a bank holiday, but we have urged our employers, and they have agreed, that all business, with the exception of the banks and supermarkets who will deal with it in their own time, all businesses should shut by 1 p.m. today, because most of you and let me be clear, the banks, it is payday. The banks will determine their hours, and they may remain open most of the day. The supermarkets, for those who need food, obviously, when they get paid, and hotels and regular emergency services shall remain open. But other than that, we urge all employers to recognize that most Barbadians are not yet capable of going to sleep. And as we drove down here, the people who came out of their houses to wave us hello, we know that Bajans were not sleeping this morning at 3:30. Finally, my friends, finally, we are here, and may I say, I wish I could have the luxury of saying that I will have a half day, but tomorrow is all work. Today is all work for me, because a cabinet must be appointed before Monday. We are here because you have all recognized the enormity of the challenge facing this country. And while I ask you, my friends, while this may be the greatest challenge of our lifetime, I believe that it will also go down in the annals of history as the greatest of achievement of Barbados once we work together. Together, we shall set those goals. Together, we shall implement the People's Manifesto. And together, we will write our names on history's page. We shall be strict guardians of our heritage. And we shall be firm craftsmen of our faith. Good night, good morning, good whatever. Thank you, the people of Barbados. We love you.
Tell me what you want. BLP. All aboard. What do people want? BLP. What Barbados want?
Each and every one of you. It is people like you, people from all walks of life, who built this nation. The road ahead of us is not always straight, but we must keep moving forward towards our dreams of a brighter and a better tomorrow. It is through hard work, determination, and the character of our people that we will succeed. This is not about me. This is not about our team. This is about you and everything that you love. This is about the future of our country, our Barbados. We need your help. We need you to be a part of this change. We need your energy, your intelligence, your creativity to once again make Barbados punch above its weight. Believe in yourself again. Believe in Barbados again. Believe that you can do it. Believe that we can do it. Because, my friends, together we can. Together we shall. And together we will do what is best for Barbados.
Tell me what you want. BLP. All aboard. What do people want? BLP. What Barbados want? BLP. Whoa, yo, oh. But let me go, let me go, let me go. Tell me what you want. BLP. All aboard. What do people want? BLP. What Barbados want? BLP. Whoa, yo, oh. But let me go, let me go, let me go. We making history, we heading out for victory. We voting BLP, that is the best for the country. We making history, we heading out for victory. Barbados rising up, cause we got me out with me. Oh, 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 so come along. We moving on. We must be strong. We want upliftment, so all aboard. It's time to roll, so let me go. All aboard, cause everybody fed up and we done with them. No opportunity, so we done with them. We want the best for the country, so we done with them. So vote BLP, call we done with them. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. BLP, come to help, we build confidence and live up.